Good evening, everyone. Let's give a great round of applause for our extra drums, Sam Martino, and Emily Renee. Good evening. Welcome to the inaugural induction ceremony at West Milford High School, Athletic Hall of Fame class of 2018. My name is Joe Trentacosta. I'm the Director of Athletics. I'm honored to serve as your Master of Ceremonies this evening. Before we officially kick off the program, please stand as Liz Lynn sings our national anthem.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming. And the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you very much, Liz. You can be seated, everyone. Once again, good evening, everyone. We'd like to get started. As the athletic director, I speak at a lot of these awards dinners, and this is a big one. And I know no one wants to hear from the AD, so I'm going to be very, very short as your MC. Once again, thanks to our students, Liz, Ryan, and Sam. They do a great job. I am super excited tonight to be here as your MC for numerous reasons. To induct our first class of 2018. I'm also super excited because I just turned 46 last week and I don't need glasses to read the speech. So I'm pretty happy about that. That's what the comment is. Speaking of glasses, I know there's a lot of baseball people in the room, 89. One of my favorite, yeah, right, give it up for 89 team. Coach Anselo. Great. But speaking of glasses, one of my favorite one-liners was from an opposing coach. And I'm coaching baseball at West Milford High School after Coach Anselm retired. And the opposing coach said to the umpire, as he asked the ump, was holding the strike ball indicator thing, and he said, "Why do you keep looking at your hand? Do you have a map of the strike zone in that, or what?" So, again, it's too early for comedy. Right? But seriously, the administration, coaches, past and present, the Hall of Fame committee, we're all very excited for tonight's program, so we're getting moving along. The individuals, coaches, and teams being inducted tonight. The individuals, teams, coaches tonight created history. Tonight we plan to celebrate that history, honor the legacy of our inductees, and celebrate an unforgettable night. There's one inaugural class, and tonight is your night to celebrate. Let's give them a hand. During your time at West Milford High School and in your post-secondary life and career, you have brought pride and honor to West Milford by virtue of your achievements and accomplishments as student athletes. But in addition, you have thrived as responsible citizens of character in service to your school community and within your own respective communities and families. Countless victories and championships were won by these inductees while wearing black and gold representing West Milford. More important, countless memories were made and shared. I know I speak on behalf of my athletic director predecessors, Tim Gillen, Larry Harding, Tony DeMarco, each are here tonight. They've helped to build and secure a reputation of West Milford athletics in our county, conference, and state for over 40 years. And tonight's honorees exemplify the very best that West Milford athletics has to offer. Before I introduce Tim Gillen, who will speak in a few minutes, I'm going to introduce Dr. Animo, who we'd like to thank for all his support. He's our superintendent, Dr. Animo. And our executive committee is Kathy Rita, Secretary of Athletics, Tim Gillen, Sean Poppy, Mike McCormick, Joe Jordan, and Krista Tripodi. For 2 years, these folks have dedicated countless hours to ensure that we properly honor our inductees tonight. Dr. Animo, would you come up for safety?
Good evening, everyone.
You can say I'm going to raise it up.
And thank you for having me at the inaugural West Milford High School Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Speed, power, agility, quickness, athleticism, toughness, determination, leadership. But anyway, enough about Joe Trentacosta. We are here to honor our inaugural class of athletes, coaches, teams, and special contributors. Athletics, successful athletics even more so, are one of the cornerstones of any great high school. Nothing, and I mean nothing, lifts the spirits of an entire building or even an entire district like a great athletic season. It seems as though no matter how accomplished an athlete is beyond high school, his or her fondest, greatest, warmest memories of sports are from their high school days. Playing ball with their friends, with their families in the stands, in their hometown. Wearing that WM on their chest with a sense of pride that does not exist in college or professional sports, does not exist in the business world, and sadly, does not even exist in some communities anymore. For our inductees, I'm sure some of you live locally and others have moved away, but rest assured, as superintendent of schools, I can attest to the fact that this hometown pride still exists in West Milford. It's a community like no other, and on behalf of the entire Board of Education, I salute you, congratulate you, and wish you all the best. Thank you and enjoy the evening.
Thank you, Dr. Animo. Now we would like to call up our new principal of West Milford High School, Mr. Matthew Strines.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to start off by thanking you for all coming. I'd like to acknowledge the committee that put this together. It's been a long 2-year process. They've done an outstanding job for this night, so let's give them a nice round of applause. To the inaugural class, I'd like to congratulate you, and also I'm looking forward to tomorrow to you coming into the high school and doing a question and answer session with our student body. They are really, really excited to have you. And if you want some tips to the questions, make sure you find me. I'll tip you off so you know what's coming your way tomorrow. I also look forward to giving you a tour around the building and getting you back in your old high school to see how things change and celebrating it with you tomorrow night up on the football field. I thank you again, and remember, once a Highlander, always a Highlander. Congratulations.
And our last speaker before we begin our honorees and our inductees is our chairperson, who has put more work into this evening over the last 2 years than anyone. That's Chairperson Tim Gillen.
Wow. I never envisioned this evening being like this when we first started out. But welcome all, and congratulations to the inaugural class of the West Milford High School Athletic Hall of Fame. You know, I love tradition. I went to a tradition-rich high school. My favorite college is drenched in tradition, that being Notre Dame. And this builds on tradition right here tonight, and it's a great thing. In my message in the program, I put what my definition of tradition is, and I really believe in that. And we start with tradition tonight by, we have the very first head football coach in the history of West Milford High School here tonight. Welcome, Coach Gunderman. It has been my high honor to have served as the chairperson of this Hall of Fame for the last 2.5 years. I am so proud of where we started to what we have become. Over 2.5 years of effort have all come together tonight and tomorrow. When Joe Trenicas had the vision to begin this endeavor, he asked me if I was interested in becoming involved. I was honored to be asked. We met with some of the finest athletic directors from some of the finest high schools in North Jersey to pick their brains. See, athletic directors don't reinvent the wheel. We steal from others that do great things. It's really a very collegial group, considering we compete against one another. But there's not a more tight-knit group in any profession anywhere. We took much of what they do. However, we decided we wanted to become more than just the traditional type of Hall of Fame. This included our Hall of Fame activities and other areas we wanted to venture into. We wanted to involve the entire school community, which we have. We wanted to connect the past with the present, which we have. We wanted to recognize current student athletes, which we have also done that. It is now ironic that when other schools approach the same schools we did about starting the Hall of Fame, they send them our way for guidance. And Joe and I have met with numerous athletic directors about starting Halls of Fame. I want to take a few minutes to thank some very special people. We're honored to have here tonight our New Jersey Orthopedic Institute medical team, or part of the team, led by Dr. Vincent McInerney. Our student athletes could not be in better hands than Dr. McInerney and his team of doctors. And all of the athletes here, except for one, Phil, have all been treated by Dr. McInerney and his team. We are so fortunate to have him working with our student athletes. Thank you to our superintendent of schools, Dr. Alex Anamone, for your support of our efforts from the very beginning. Thank you to all of our administration, central office, high school, and Maccaben School for your support and attendance tonight. Thank you to Ray Guerin. Ray has always been a great supporter of our school's programs. He has taken his support to a new level, serving as a Board of Education trustee. Greg Bailey was instrumental in aiding in the formation of our Athletic Hall of Fame from the beginning, and has a long and extensive record of support for the programs of West Milford Township schools. Greg will take his commitment well into a second decade as he seeks re-election for the Board of Education. I'd like to thank Ray and Greg for being here tonight. At this time, I would like all members of the Hall of Fame General Committee and the coaching staff to be stand and recognized. Please stand, all members of the committee and our current coaches. Thank you. Thank you for your commitment and support. Hopefully someday our current athletes will be here at an evening similar to this. My final thank you is for those without their unwavering support, we would not be here tonight. I would like Mike McCormick, the Vice Chair, to stand, please. Joe Trinicosta, Director of Athletics. Kathy Rita, our Secretary Treasurer. Sean Poppy, a Trustee. Krista Tripodi, Trustee. And Joe Jordan, our Website and Technology Coordinator. This is our executive committee, and they're the glue that put this all together. Thank you very much. In closing, thank you for coming, and I hope you enjoy all of our Hall of Fame festivities. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. At this time, I'd also like to recognize Mr. Mark Citro, our principal of the middle school. Mark. Also on the committee, and Dan Novak, our Director of Education. Thank you. It says break in your program, but it looks like we're ready to start the festivities and get right into our teams. So we are going to begin the installation of the teams and coaches. And we're going to start with the 1994-95 girls basketball team. What a special team that was. And our presenter for that team is our current girls basketball coach, Mr. Ray LaCroix. He's sitting by the bar, he's got a long walk. Coach Ray LaCroix.
Good evening, everybody. I just wanted to say what an honor it is to be the first presenter of the evening. As a history teacher at the high school in his 23rd year, and in my 18th year as the girls basketball coach, I'm someone who really appreciates the past. And one of the things I talk about with the girls all the time, setting goals and trying to reach them. Every once in a while, I'll bring them over to the banner in the gym and talk to them about the 94-95 team and the Tournament of Champions, which they're aware of, and talk about the fact that there was a time when West Milford girls basketball, there were 2 teams left playing in the entire state. And we were one of them. And it's fun to see the girls' eyes get nice and wide when you talk about that sort of thing. And to me, it's really, there's 2 lessons there. One, that team taught this generation of athletes at West Milford High School is the importance of being able to dream and dream big. And the other thing, it's really, really important to be really, really good, which that team was. And so I've heard a lot about that team. I started the high school in September of '96, so I never got a chance to see them play. But it's my honor, like I said, to induct them tonight. And if any team deserves to be in a Hall of Fame, it's that team. So at this point in time, I'd like to bring up the head coach of that team, Elmer Zimmerman. And next, this is an honor to me because Elmer's the man who passed the torch to me 18 years ago, taking over the program. And I'd like to introduce the members of that team, starting with Jennifer Milford. Megan Rena. Jackie Dunbar. Alicia Space. Kelly Evans. Lindsay Bigelow. Okay. Wendy Kane. and Jennifer Seiden. Team, you guys want to go to the staircase for a picture, and Mr. Trenicosta will take over at this point.
Elmer, do you want to say a few words about the team now? Okay, before the picture, Coach Zimmerman would like to say a few words about the 94-95 team. Again, congratulations.
Well, I had a couple notes here if I can find them. Actually, I'm more nervous now than I was playing the basketball game. I'm so proud of this team. They're just tremendous players, tremendous athletes, tremendous kids to be around. So on the court, they were real fierce competitors, and off the court, they were friend everybody. For many of them, they were three-sport athletes, which is very hard to do. Winning 29 games in a single season was the coach's dream. But they were also conference champs, county champs, state sectional champs, and they even went on to accomplish more. They were also, many people don't know, nationally ranked as well. Each one of them contributed to our success. It wasn't one person or two, it was a whole team. They went on to become nationally recognized by the USTA today. I was blessed to be a small part of the team. Thank you again, girls. And any coaching draw up X's and O's, as we know, but you have to be able to execute that plan. And this group of girls from 94, 95 championship, they were able to execute the plan perfectly, and they couldn't be any further, anyone recognized more than them for that purpose. So we're proud of the team, and every single player, as I mentioned, each one were amazing people, and will always be have a special place in my heart. So thank you very much, Lady Highlanders.
I'm going to take a picture. I'm going to call Bob up now.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Coach Zimmerman. Thank you, girls. It's a pleasure to meet you as well tonight, as I have not met many of you before. They're going to take a picture by the stairwell while we bring up. We also have a very special coach inducted into the Hall of Fame, and that is Elmer Zimmerman. And I would like to call up a very dear friend of his, also West Milford Highlander, Coach Bob Worth.
Thank you. Coach Zimmerman and I first met 56 years ago in a pickup basketball game at our college orientation. 56 years ago. Hard to believe how time flies. Little did we know that that would be the beginning of a wonderful friendship. We were teammates in soccer, basketball, and baseball, as well as being half of the Shelton College Quartet. I don't know if you knew he has a wonderful voice. Those years helped to shape our Christian worldview and develop our coaching philosophy from the influence of some great coaches who knew how to team build. He helped to start and organize the North Jersey Church Softball and Basketball League, and most of you probably know Elmer is very competitive. He's dependable, he's well organized, he's a man of integrity and of faith who attempts to glorify God in all he does. In your pamphlet you can see his accomplishments, and you just met the girls team, and you know what he did with basketball, but also if you read how many victories he had in tennis. And that might not seem like too much, but you'll notice that that's more victories than anyone had in West Milford history. And besides that, West Milford is not a country club town. Some teams that we compete against have 4 country clubs, and that's their feeder program. So he made his own feeder program. You'll also notice that he has 50 years with Parks and Recreation, where he had all kinds of tennis clinics and tennis camps. He took kids to Hilton Head. And how many car washes did you have? Yeah. But it's my privilege to give to Elmer and present this award. Some other things, I don't know if you know, he's a good gardener. He grows some of the best tomatoes in North Jersey. He is a man of sterling character, a loving, faithful husband, father, and grandfather. He's a fierce competitor and a loyal friend, a true champion, Elmer Zimmerman.
Coach Zimmerman to come up and accept his ring. Folks, if you haven't gotten a chance to see, when we take a break, you have to see these rings to thank the awards committee for what a great job they did in ordering them. Okay, in this inaugural year, we have one more special team to honor tonight, and that team is the 1989 baseball team, with which we are so impressed that a majority of that team was able to come out tonight, as with the girls, and honor their tradition. And to come up and speak about that team and to introduce their coach is our current coach, Joe Jordan.
Good evening, everyone. First, I want to extend my congratulations to all the inductees, their families, as well as thanking our general committee out there and our executive committee on all their hard work to make this possible. All of us here are obviously incredibly proud of this night and the process that went into making all of this happen. West Milford High School has had a rich baseball tradition over its 50-plus years of existence. As the current head coach and a lifelong resident of West Milford who just loves the history of baseball and sports in our school, I want to recognize the 3 previous head coaches prior to myself who are all here in attendance. These gentlemen served West Milford High School baseball for a combined 37 years. And if you can stand, Coach Tony DeMarco, Coach Pete Anzalone, and Coach Joe Trentacosti. Obviously, a lot of thanks needs to be said to these gentlemen for their service to our baseball program and our student athletes over the years. So thank you. The 1989 baseball team was a team that solidified that rich baseball tradition and raised the bar for future teams that followed. Their team and individual player accomplishments that season were remarkable and have stood the test of time as some of the best ever by a West Milford baseball team. They had an overall record of 22-3. They won a Northern Hills Conference title, won the school's first state sectional title, reached the program's first county final, and were the only baseball team to date, unfortunately, to reach an overall state final. The team finished number 2 in the final Star Ledger Top 20 that year in 1989, only behind Cherry Hill West, who was the team that defeated them in the Group 4 final. Being inducted into the inaugural Hall of Fame class is truly a deserving honor for this team and its coach. Now I'd like to bring up Coach Pete Anzalone, the coach of the 1989 West Milford baseball team. And now our players from the 1989 team. First I want to mention the players. I think it's important. I know not everybody was able to make it, but first the players who weren't able to make it tonight, and I'd like to mention them. It's Ian Paterson, Jack Callahan, and Joe Karpinski. And now our players who are here, very special that we have 13 or 14 of them here. And we'll start, Chris Piro. Dennis Post. Pat Hensley. Keith Freeland. Andy Glick. Dan McArdle. Matt Demarest. Ed DeRobertis. Brian Shunke. Corey Poet. Tom Tallpash. Keith Sedlak. Kevin Riley. And Mark Trahan. And now, Coach Joe Trentacosta. I'll turn it over to Coach Trent. Oh, you know, Coach Pete Anslow.
Yeah, go Pete first.
Pete.
Guys, move down. Move down, let's go. Come on down.
You don't have to do this all again, you can do it all out.
Okay?
Like Elmer.
All right. Come on down, gentlemen. Good evening, everybody. I want to first make a few thank yous. I want to thank the executive committee and the subcommittee for all their hard work. As you can imagine, this was a major undertaking. I want to give a special thank you to Tim Gillen and Joe Trentacosta, who are absolutely the driving force behind getting this organization off the ground and up and running. To all the honorees, you all worked very hard and are very deserving of this award. Tony DeMarco, stand up, please. Yep. Some of you may or may not know, but Tony DeMarco was my high school coach. In addition to being my high school coach, he was also a great friend and mentor. To this day, my family and I are very good friends with Tony. He was the head coach before I took over. He really got West Milford baseball moving in the right direction and made my transition into the head coach that much easier. Thank you, Tony. There's two other people I want to thank. One of them's not here, that's Bob Henry. The other is Todd Mope. Todd, please stand up. Todd told me not to be too long up here. I said, okay, well, I can cut the thank you out to you. But he said, no, keep that in, keep that in. Todd and Bob Henry are two amazing people who ran the West Milford County MAC for all these guys and many other guys during the summer and fall. They really were a big asset to my program and all the programs. Many, many thanks for all your hours and dedication. Okay, I would be very remiss if I did not thank my wife, my son PJ, my other son Ryan. Any of you who are in this room know that if you're a coach or an athlete, you're not home a lot during the season. And it's great to have that support at home. It makes doing your job that much easier. And I just want to give you guys a big thank for always standing behind me. Thank you. And gotta say hi to my two beautiful daughter-in-laws, Rachel, where are you? And Caitlin, who is expecting in about 3 weeks. Okay, on behalf of the team, I want to say thank you. We are all humbled and honored, excuse me, all humbled and honored by standing here today. To be inducted into the Hall of Fame is a great honor, and to be one of the first two teams to go into the Hall of Fame makes it extra special. I first took the position of head coach back in 1987. It was during this season that the framework for the 1989 team began. Sophomore pitcher Corey Poet, who had a career record of 26 wins and 3 losses, along with sophomore outfielder Tommy Taupash and sophomore shortstop Kevin Riley, who both had career batting averages of close to 400, formed the core foundation for this great team. Over the next 2 years, we added support to the foundation by adding infielders Dennis Post, Ed DeRobertis, Keith Sedlak, Dan McCardle, Mark Trahan, and Ian Paterson. Additions to the outfield included Andy Glick, Matt Demarest, Chris Pirro, and Pat Hensley. Rounding out this Hall of Fame team was one of the best pitching staffs in the state, including Brian Chunky, who went on to pitch at Seton Hall, Keith Freeland, Joe Karpinski, and Jack Callahan. I cannot take credit for our great accomplishments. In fact, there's an old expression that says, you can't go to the races without the horses. Well, ladies and gentlemen, these are the horses, and in 1989, we were off to the races. This group of young men that stand before you were just kids when I coached them in high school nearly 30 years ago. Even though it seemed like a lifetime ago, when I called each and every one of them to inform and congratulate them on the Hall of Fame induction, it was as if we had never been apart. Conversations picked up right where they left off, and I think this is because we are very much like family with something very special that connects us all. This is truly a team award, to be shared equally by each member of the team. Each and every player up here was an important part of our success. Webster's dictionary defines a team as joining forces or efforts marked by devotion to teamwork rather than individual achievement. This group of individuals exemplified an all for one and one for all mentality. We were a team by its truest definition. I was a tough coach who worked his players hard and settled for nothing less than 100% effort, 100% of the time in everything that we did. My feeling was that you do not have to be the most skillful player on the team to hustle. We had our fun and laughs, but come game day, we were prepared and had a refuse to lose attitude. Although back in 1989, this group of men who stand before you were only young kids, they had the presence of mind to respond like men. They responded in a positive way to any and every challenge put before them. They set high goals for themselves and for their team. This group got it. They understood what it took to be great. They played the game with the respect it deserved. During the preseason, pitchers and catchers would report at 6 a.m. before school started to get our specific workout in. No one was ever late, and no one ever complained. Not to me, anyway. Most of the preseason practices consisted of workouts in the gym and intense weight room sessions. Both situations were intense and competitive. My infielders in particular did not like these workouts because, as they will tell you, I would hit the ground ball on the gym floor harder than any ball they would ever see in the field. I'm sure Post, Riley, Sedlak, DeRobertis, McCardle, and Trahan still have bruises and battle scars on their shins.
Hated it.
I loved it.
Yeah, I know.
Especially when you guys had to play goalie. Hard work continued throughout the season. it was not uncommon for us to get back late to the school after an away game, which we won, mind you, only to hit the weight room for an intense circuit training session. When we finished with that, we did some cardiovascular work. We would run the upper hallways of the school, and when I got them good and warmed up after about 15 minutes, we would hit the stairs. They would hit every step, then they'd hit every other step, then they'd hit every third step. Then they'd hop on one foot on every step, and then hop on one foot on every other step, and so on. And then, when they were at complete exhaustion, I would make them carry each other on their backs up and down the double set of stairs. Now, by the end of this cardiovascular workout, the hallway, the stairwell rather, was like a sauna, and the windows at the top of the stairwell on the fire doors were completely fogged. There was more going on here than just conditioning. This built an incredible bond and set the foundation for teamwork and a never-give-up attitude that made us mentally tough. That mental toughness, preparedness, and sense that we had each other's back proved to be the difference many times when it came to close games or when we went up against powerhouse programs that were ranked much higher than we were. This group executed all aspects of the game, from small ball to long ball, from tough defense to excellent base running. Many people say luck has something to do with success. I had a different philosophy. I believed that the more you practiced, the luckier you got. We went on to capture our league title with a 17-1 conference record. We advanced to the Passaic County Finals, which, as Coach Jordan mentioned, was the first time in the school history. In our state playoffs, we competed in the Group 4 North 1 state sectionals, which was comprised of the biggest schools in the state. We had to beat some great baseball teams with rich baseball tradition. Our first game in the States was against Ferris, who we defeated by a score of 6-2. We then moved on to defeat an excellent North Bergen team. Score? Nobody can remember. Riley thinks it was 6-3. After that win, after the win against North Bergen, it earned us a spot in the Group 4 North 1 state sectional finals. We had to face Clifton, who at the time was an excellent baseball program, year in, year out. We went on to defeat Clifton by a score of 6-2 to earn the school's first ever state sectional title. This win against Clifton put us in the overall Group 4 state semifinal game, where we would face Elizabeth. Elizabeth was one of the biggest, if not the biggest school in the state at the time. Elizabeth was a powerhouse that at the time was ranked number 4 in the state and nationally ranked as well, thus making them the clear favorite. This is the truth, what I'm going to tell you right now. Prior to the game, I remember sitting in a dugout, going over my lineup and scouting report, when 3 of the Elizabeth full-time assistant coaches came over and sat on the bench right next to me. One of them said to me, "Well, Coach, are you nervous?" I looked him right in the eye and I said, "I'm not nervous. We're not supposed to win this game. You are." I followed that up with, "However, if I were you, I'd be nervous." With that, they stood up and went back to their dugout. I said this not out of arrogance. I said it because I had complete confidence in my players. I knew that my players were prepared for anything that was thrown at them. We were up for any challenge put before us. There were not any weak spots in our lineup. Regardless if you were a starter or not, you were expected to come through. We went on to shock everyone as we beat Elizabeth by a score of 9-5. With this win over Elizabeth, we advanced to the Group 4 state final game at Princeton University, where we would play Cherry Hill West, a baseball powerhouse who was making their 3rd trip in a row to the state finals. Cherry Hill West was ranked the number, I'm going to make you guys start running laps if you keep talking. Cherry Hill West was ranked the #1 team in the state the entire year and ranked 5th in the nation at the time we played them. Unfortunately, we did not hold on to win this game. We jumped out to a 3-0 lead, but it didn't stand up. When all the dust settled and all the state championship games were finished, the Star-Ledger ranked the West Milford High School baseball team as the #2 team in the entire state. Just think about that for a minute. The #2 team in the entire state. That in itself is pretty incredible. Tonight, I purposely did not mention recognition awards that some of the individual players on this team received. We had some great players on this team that this town may never see the likes of again. However, to single out any of these individuals today is not what this award is all about. And more importantly, it would be in direct contrast to what we as a team were all about. In closing, I would like to say that coaching has been a huge part of my life. In many ways, it defines who I am. I feel that being called coach is one of the highest compliments you can pay an individual. I want to thank all of my players today. It was a pleasure working with you. You truly are a very special group. To any young athletes that are out there, I have a saying that I'd like you to listen to. It's by an unknown author. It's very short. It goes like this. Somewhere, someone is practicing, and when he meets you in head-to-head competition, he'll beat you. Make sure you are that someone. On behalf of the '89 team, enjoy the rest of the evening, and thank you very much.
Coach Anzelone's going to stay right here. That was great. Thank you. Thanks, Coach Anzelone. Before we take the picture, Coach, can you stay right here? Tonight, I also have the distinct honor. We're going to pause for a break in a few minutes. We have Coach Anzelone and one more coach to recognize, and then we're going to take a break so you guys can chat. I know you have some catching up to do. I have this distinct honor to introduce Pete Anzelone. Coach Anzelone was the head baseball coach for 13 seasons. You've heard a lot about his biography. You've heard a lot about the '89 team. Coach Anzelone's overall record was 217 wins, 101 losses, and 2 ties. It's a 678 winning percentage. Fantastic, especially given the competition. And as we already know, he was the coach of the North 1 Group 4 State Sectional Championship team. Without reiterating a lot that was already stated about the coach, and by the way, I think these guys are more tired now than they were when they did the stairs, trying to stand for 15 minutes. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I had the distinct honor of taking over the program after Coach Anzelone with his endorsement, and Larry Harding was the AD that hired me, and I'm forever grateful for having that position for the 9 years that I did. And I will tell you that every time Coach Anzelone calls me on the phone or calls me, it's always, "Hey, Coach." And I know that he really honors that term, as do I, and I don't think I never missed that when you say that, Coach. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Coach Pete Anzelone to the 2018 Hall of Fame. I got it, that's right. And while the boys take their picture, our last coach to induct tonight, and then we'll take a short break, is Coach Bob Dondiero. And to present Coach Bob Dondiero is our presenter, Tony DeMarco. Tony, as you know, is the former athletic director of West Milford High School. Tony?
Good evening. Excuse me. Good evening. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Tony DeMarco. I worked at West Milford for 34 years. 22 as a teacher coach in my last 12 years as athletic director before I retired in 1998. I would like to start by congratulating the individuals being inducted tonight in the first class, the West Milford Athletic Hall of Fame. It is my great honor and pleasure to have the opportunity to introduce to you today one of the two coaches being inducted into the Hall of Fame tonight. Bob Dondiero and I have been very close friends for more than 65 years. It was I who asked our principal in 1970 to interview Bob for a physical education job and head boys basketball coaching position that we would have available in the upcoming school year. I knew Bob would be a perfect fit at West Milford. Bob was hired and went on to teach physical education and coach basketball, football, baseball, softball, boys cross country in his 35 years at West Milford. I'm not going to list all of Bob's accomplishments as a coach, but I will tell you that Bob cares about people. His willingness to give of himself is what makes Bob an outstanding coach and a most trusted friend. I would like to thank him for all the hours and hours of caring about sports and young athletes that he coached. Because of his enthusiasm, hard work, and dedication, his athletes would begin to emulate him, making them perform at their best ability. Bob was excellent at building self-esteem in his players and inspiring them to do more than they thought they could. For over 35 years, Bob worked with athletes, not only building their physical health and developing their bodies, not only teaching them to think in critical situations, and not only developing their skills, but he also worked with their minds, hearts, and to teach them trust, fairness, courage, and honor. Bob was able to teach these virtues because he lives them every day of his life. Bob, I hope you realize how much success you had as a coach and what a positive impact you had on all the athletes under your tutelage. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you my good friend and Hall of Fame inductee, Bob Dondiero.
Really makes me feel old when he says we've been friends for 60 years. You know, you're starting to show your age and my age. Okay. I wrote this because you're going to be proud of me. The reason we were only allowed 3 minutes was because of me. They know I love to talk. So, anyway, good evening. First, I'd like to congratulate the baseball team and the basketball team, Coach Zimmerman for the other Coach of the Year, the 8 athletes, Michael Deering, and the Perillo family. My speech will be very brief. I'm limited to 3 minutes, but now I found out 5, but that's still not going to change. Due to my storytelling history. First, I must thank the Hall of Fame committee for selecting me. I'm totally honored as I stand before the many deserving coaches assembled here. To be recognized for coaching is the ultimate award. Having coached many sports, including football, basketball, baseball, softball, and cross country, I've had the privilege of coaching great athletes, many of whom are in this room this evening. Every coach knows that they are only as good as their athletes. My wish has always been to instill in the athletes the desire and passion to be the best that they can be on and off the playing field. Bobbyisms have defined me. I've been blessed with success in my coaching career. I've coached gifted athletes who have become men and women of character. I've been called many things in my life: son, brother, husband, father, friend, pop, and I cherish being called coach. Okay. I want to thank my family and friends, the Romeos, who are my walking friends. It stands for Retired Old Men Eating Out. And the PCCA Executive Committee came to honor me tonight and to help share this award. Just in closing, I just want to thank, and hope I don't leave too many people out, but Joey Trent and Timmy Gill and Kathy Rita, Bobby Jordan, to name just a few. What a job they did to get this off on the thing. And supposedly we're going to have this every 2 years. Again, guys, thank you for all the hard work that you did. It's just unbelievable. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach Dondiero. We're going to take a short break, and we'll come back with some of our individual inductees. Enjoy your salad, or whatever course you are on. We'll be back in a few. As you've heard from Tim Gillen, our mission to the Hall of Fame, as demonstrated by this inaugural class, the mission of high school sports is education-based athletics, to connect our past with our present. Thank you. In doing so, we've invited our inductees to come back to school tomorrow, where they will participate in an assembly with our student body, and they're going to engage in a meet and greet. The student ambassadors, the NJSIAA, are going to be presenting questions to our inductees. And these questions have been prepared by the entire student body. After the assembly, our inductees will be photographed in front of the TV science room. Coach George Jordan, Joey's going to get them in the green screen, eventually put a library behind it. And we're going to create read posters. If you've seen these in libraries, basically it's famous people with their favorite book. So our inductees are going to be not just honored tonight, but for a long time. Okay, at this time I'd like to start with our inductees, our individual student athletes. To introduce Mr. Bill Bailey, our presenter, Mike Blakely. Mike Blakely is a former head wrestling coach. He's an assistant wrestling coach currently, and an assistant football coach. Mike Blakely.
Good evening, and thank you everyone for coming tonight, and thank you to the committee for such a fine job putting this together. Looking through here, I come back here and I see a lot of my kids. All right, I always went to go down to the doctors to turn in physicals and things like that. And people say, "Who are they for?" I said, "My kids." I said, "Well, how many kids do you have?" I said, "Oh no, they're not really my kids, but they're my kids in heart." And we love you all, and we're glad to see you. And congratulations to the baseball team and the girls basketball team. Just a note, that girls basketball team, some of the finest athletes we ever seen come out of West Milford there. A great job, Mr. Rippleman, Mr. Angelo, baseball team, great job. Today, the next individual, Bill Bailey, is going to be a guy who does a lot of things at first. He's going to be the first individual inducted. I guess that's what great having a name with B or an A in your name. But he had a lot of firsts with him. Bill, it's a great pleasure to introduce him as an inductee for the Hall of Fame this year. As a student and athlete, Bill was a good-natured person, always smiling and positive. He is kind, considerate, and unselfish. Always attributing much of his successes to his family, his teammates, and his coaches. And if you look at the brochure, there's a thing he, again, attributed to his family. Matter of fact, when I called Billy and asked him for some information, the first thing he said was, "I'm happily married to my wife, Sonia, for 9 years." That was the first thing he said. And I had the great pleasure to be at that wedding. A great wedding, good time. Always fun to be with my athletes. Some here, I've been at their family weddings, christenings, and birthday parties. Have a great time. They keep in touch with me back there with Topash and his crew. Great time with them.
Not much has changed for Billy though. When he coached, when I contacted him, again, like he said, his wife was a big inspiration to him. His family's big inspiration. Bill participated in football, wrestling, track, and baseball as a freshman. He was captain of the football, wrestling, and track teams. He received all-county, all-league, and all-state honors. During his football career, he accumulated over 4,034 yards, 188 points for the team, and 30 touchdowns. He was a second all-county, district champ, two-time all-county, district champ, region champ, and went on to the state tournament, becoming West Milford High School's first wrestler ever to place in the state tournament. He finished third. He set a big precedence for future wrestlers who went on and placed also. He was always willing to come back and share his expertise and ability, but again, his charm and his sportsmanship was always something outstanding. He went on to Rutgers University, walked on and earned a full scholarship for football, scored the first ever touchdown in the Big East Conference. This was somebody who said he was too small. Another first he also has that we could claim in his family. He was the first one not with an A in their first name, I believe. Albert. He found a home at Rutgers, and for the past 24 years, he has worked as an academic advisor for student athletes. Billy is also active in his community, volunteering and organizing many service programs through the Prince Hall Masons, where he served as the worshipful master twice. He's involved with Toys for Tots, Played Santa, watch out Dondiero, school supplies for students in elementary school in New Brunswick, Thanksgiving Day baskets for family in need, the Martin Luther King Community Program, Black History Month, scholarships through the Elijah Promise Stars, scholarships through his organization, the Masons, the Elijah Star Promise Shelter he worked at, various cancer and diabetes fundraisers. I'm proud to present William Bill Bailey. On behalf of the Hall of Fame Committee, I'd like to present you with this ring for inductee for one of the inductees for the Hall of Fame, and many more inductees to come. We have great young people, and he's one of the greatest that I've been around, and I'm proud of him. And this is one of my boys. Thanks, Bill.
Well, stand before you very humble today. Definitely an honor to be here this evening with each and every one of you. It's great to catch up and see some of the classmates and teammates and friends that I've made over the years in high school, and seeing what they're doing right now, and I'm very thankful for that. I actually did write something down. First off, give an honor to my Lord and Savior who makes all things possible and strengthens me. And good evening. I would like to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for inducting me in this inaugural class. I enjoyed many days at running around in West Milford. From my freshman year through senior year, you're looking at a young man who wanted to quit school when he was in 4th grade, wanted to quit school when he was in 8th grade, tried to quit school when he was in 10th grade, and when he got to college, his sophomore year, said, you know what, this isn't for me. But I went on, persevered, went on, got my undergraduate degree, and a couple of years ago, finally decided to go back and get my master's. So I have that.
Grad school keeps calling me and asking me when I'm coming back for my doctorate. Told them I'm done with school, not doing it anymore. Absolutely over. But none of this would be possible if it weren't for all of you. For all of you sitting out here representing this wonderful high school, you know, it's absolutely amazing. All right, to see this crowd come together and be here on one accord to pay homage to those who have been out there and in the workforce for years and remembering the things that we've done years ago. And for everybody to be here this evening, it's absolutely beautiful. So thank you to the Hall of Fame committee for putting this together, and to all the honorees and the teams that have been inducted this evening. Outstanding job. Love all of you dearly. But like I said, it couldn't be done without family, my teammates, Corey, Tom, Brian. See you guys all out there. Dennis. Okay. My coaches, Coach Blakely, Coach Guerin, Coach Poppy, Coach Harding, who flew all the way in from Colorado to be here this evening. Jim Dransfield. I see you back there. You can't hide. Coach Hayes. And definitely I can't forget Judy Musil. That was my mom away from my mom when I was traveling and doing stuff at West Milford High School. Got me involved in plays, wanted me to be in dance classes and things of all that sort, do something different. That was the person who kind of inspired me to do a lot of different things, to be a little more outgoing and do those. So, but most importantly to the community, can't say nothing but thank you. For 4 years at West Milford Township High School, best fans you could ever possibly imagine. Without the community and being there in those stands to yell and cheer, you just don't know how important that is for young individuals that are out there competing to actually appreciate knowing that there's somebody out there supporting. Okay, maybe you guys can help me teach a lesson down at Rutgers University, teach them how to do a little, cheering and stay in the seats and, cheer them on, going through some tough times. But you know what? You're going to have those. To my Wonder Lake family, the Walkers back there. My family, my best friend since kindergarten, Larry Williams, is sitting back there. All right. Just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. We learned some life lessons growing up in our neighborhood. It made us stronger, made us better. We were competitive, and we always wanted the best for each other. So I say thank you to my Wonder Lake family. And now to my family. Unfortunately, my mom couldn't be here tonight. She's in rehab right now. So we're trying to make sure that she's okay so we can bring her back home so she can be amongst the family again. But I know she's here in spirit. I wore my dad's suspenders. For those who don't know, he passed away a couple of years ago. But they've been my #1 fans for a long time. And, I miss them. And I love my mom. And I know they're looking down on me and, congratulating me on this occasion. So to my family, I say thank you. I love you. You're always there for me. I appreciate everything you do, the trips you made, coming out tonight, all the little things. And yes, I'm a little sentimental, but I do love my family. And finally, just again, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out tonight, making this occasion very special for everybody who's being inducted this evening. To all those being honored tonight, again, congratulations. You are exactly what West Milford represents. Okay? And who am I missing? Who did I miss? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I'm about to get in trouble. Even though I drove, I'm about to be in trouble. To my lovely wife, Sonia. She's standing there holding this camera, taking all this as I'm up here tearing up. But 9 years ago, she said yes to me, and we've been happily married ever since. She's been my driving force. She's the reason actually why I finished my degree for my master's, and she continues to push me to be better every day. I thank you. I love you. I appreciate everything you've done for me. Being here this evening just makes it that much better. And again, thank you to everybody. Good night, and have a wonderful evening. To the rest of the inductees, God bless you all, and have a great night.
Congratulations, Bill Bailey. Great job. Our next individual athlete, softball, Robin Barron, and it's presented by Kathy Topash, high school teammate.
Good evening. I've had the privilege of playing softball with Robin Barron from 1989 to 91. One day at practice, Coach Strands called me in off the field and instructed me to put on the equipment. I've never caught before, so naturally I came in and put the batting gear on. And he's yelling from the field saying, "No, no, put the catcher's gear on." At first I was a little intimidated because Robin is a fierce pitcher, but I knew Robin was an amazing pitcher, but until I actually caught for her is when I really, truly realized how talented she was. I knew every time Robin stepped on that mound, she was going to dominate that mound, and she did every single time. Robin threw so hard that I actually had to wear 2 weightlifting gloves underneath my mitt in order to ease the swelling and the pain. Not only is she an amazing person on the field, she's an amazing person off the field. We clicked and we became the best of friends, and we still are to this day. Until one hot and humid day at our semi-state finals, we were warming up, and Robin took her normal kneel tuck position so I can throw down to second base. And I went to go throw to second, and the ball slipped out of my hand, and I pegged Robin in the side of the head. Knocked her out cold. So everybody ran out to the mound, you know, consoling Robin and everything. And standing next to me is Mr. Barron. You think he'd be consoling his daughter, but he's consoling me because he knew when she came to, she was going to be mad as hell at me. And of course she was. But Robin got up, stumbled back to that mound, and took over that game. She owned that mound, and she won that semifinal state final. That just proves how talented, how dedicated, and how determined Robin was as a pitcher. As some of you may know, Robin lost her father a year ago. And I know Robin, he's looking down on you, and he's very proud of you right now. The Barron family was a huge part of the softball family, and they included all of us in their family and treated us all as a daughter. We never needed the internet. We can always go to Alan or Mr. Barron, and they knew the play-by-play stats all the time. Till this day, Alan we can still ask him, he'll still know it. And they're amazing, amazing family. Robin's records speak for themselves, and there are so many to speak of, but here are just a few of her highlights. She went to college and had an outstanding college career. Her college career, she went to Montclair State University. She was a 3-time All-American in region, 2-time recipient of the North Jersey Athletic Conference Pitcher of the Year, Montclair State University Athlete of the Year, and she was also inducted into the Montclair State University Hall of Fame in 2014. Her high school career, she was all conference, all county, and all state. She had 4 straight Northern Hill Conference titles, 3 straight sectional titles, 19 career no-hitters, 4 perfect games, and named the record's best of the century pitcher. A talent like Robin comes along only in our lifetime. Therefore, I am honored to present a well-deserved award to my best friend and now 2-time Hall of Famer, Robin Weinbrecht.
Cry. Who am I supposed to speak into? This one? I would like to start by thanking Kathy for being here tonight and speaking on my behalf. I met Kathy when I was a sophomore and she was a freshman, and we were both playing varsity for Drans. And like Kathy said, Drans decided to take her from shortstop and put her behind the plate. And I know this sounds corny, but a beautiful friendship started that day. And almost 30 years later, Kath, you're still one of my best friends. You're my daughter's godmother. And I never would have been as successful as I was in high school without you behind the plate. So thank you. I love you, man. I would also like to thank the West Milford High School Athletic Hall of Fame Committee, Joe Trinacosta, Drans, Coach Dondiero, and anyone else who may have been responsible for me being inducted into the Hall of Fame. It is such an honor and privilege to be standing here tonight amongst all these incredibly talented athletes, coaches, and individuals. The time I spent at West Milford playing ball were some of the greatest days of my life, and I will cherish those memories forever. My dad nominated me for the Hall of Fame, and shortly afterwards, he passed away. He caught for me for more than 10 years, and I beat the living crap out of him. And he enjoyed every minute of it. Not only did my mom and dad pay for years and years of pitching lessons and hitting lessons and camps and clinics and travel ball, they drove me all over the state of New Jersey and many other states as well to get me to wherever I needed to be. My brother was away at college when I was playing ball for West Milford, and he used to come home 2 to 3 times a week just to see me play. My parents, when I played at Montclair, my parents had moved to Ohio, and they would drive home 20 hours in a weekend just to see me play. Their love and their support were unconditional, and I am the person I am today because of them. I miss my dad every day, and tonight is not the same without him here, but I know how proud he was of me. I would also like to acknowledge my husband Eric, my daughter Jaden, and my stepson Adam, who are here tonight. They never got to see me play ball, and I sure wish they did. But we have a really beautiful family, and after being away from West Milford for 25 years, Eric and I bought a house in Kitchell Lake 4 years ago. And are now raising our family there. And maybe someday I'll get to see my daughter play on the same ball fields that I did. Lastly, I'd like to thank my friends who came out tonight. Elaine, Heather, Carl, it means the world that you are here celebrating with me, supporting me. This last year has been incredibly difficult and the worst year of my life. And Elaine, you have been my rock. And if it wasn't for you, I don't know how I would have survived this year. Thank you so much. I am truly, truly honored to be standing here tonight.
Congratulations, Robin, on behalf of the Hall of Fame Committee. I'd like to present you with this ring. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Good job.
I missed riding the bus with you.
Thank you.
Our next student athlete to be inducted tonight is Lenny Friedman. The presenter for Lenny Friedman is our former AD. We've heard from him tonight already, and how much he's done to get this night together. The head track coach, assistant football coach, former AD, presenter Tim Gillen.
Thanks, Joe. A couple other things before I get in with Lenny is I mentioned we had our very first football coach here tonight in West Milford, Coach Gunderman. We also have with us some former head football coaches, Larry Harding, who, like Bill said, came all the way from Colorado to be with us tonight. Larry was the first coach I worked under, and what a terrific man he is. And another head football coach we have, who I had unbelievable amount of great years coaching football and track with, Sean Poppy, coach. And our present head football coach is also with us tonight, Steve Mazlanik. Steve, thanks a lot. Mrs. Basket, do we have any more 50-50s left? We do. We are wrapping up our Super 50-50 sales tonight, and I will buy a 50-50 ticket for the person that answers this trivia question. Who scored the first touchdown in the history of the Big East Football Conference? Oh, I'm not buying one for everybody, I'm sorry. Ty, split it. Bill Bailey from West Milford, our own Bill Bailey. And the Highlanders were in the house that day to see that happen, and it was a great thing. I was honored when Lenny asked me to speak on his behalf tonight. Obviously, Lenny was one of the best football players to have ever played at West Milford High School. He was without question the very best position player that I ever coached. Lenny was a once-in-a-lifetime type of player for a coach, excelling at everything and dominating all opponents. He received almost every postseason honor a player could receive. Lenny was captain and MVP of our football and track teams. Lenny was part of a track era that went undefeated for 5 consecutive years, 4 of which involved Lenny. Won 4 conference championships, 2 county championships, and a North 1 Group 4 state championship. Lenny's accolades indicate he was a gifted athlete, which he was. But the message about Lenny for today's athlete is that Lenny excelled in the classroom. Lenny was an extremely smart and intelligent athlete. His talent and brains landed him at one of the finest academic institutions in the country, Duke University, on a full football scholarship. Lenny graduated in 4 years while also starting for the football team. He was the 61st overall selection in the 1999 NFL Draft by the Denver Broncos. Lenny had a very successful 10-year NFL career. Fortunately for me, Lenny was one of many athletes I had the opportunity to coach at West Milford High School that I reflect back on with many fond memories. Yes, they worked really hard, but I really enjoyed the experiences very much, and I hope that they did too. Ladies and gentlemen, please join with me in welcoming Lenny Friedman to the inaugural class of the West Milford High School Hall of Fame.
First thing I'd like to say is after hearing Coach Anselon talk about how difficult baseball was, I'm glad I played football. It sounds like a tough sport. I'm glad to be here with all the other honorees. A lot of the names that I see on this list are people that I grew up hearing about and learning about. Donna Weinbrecht, I saw her name every time I drove into West Milford because there was a placard that said, West Milford, home of Donna Weinbrecht. So great to be part of an event with her. Kevin Walker was a legend on the football field at West Milford when I played. People talked about him as a great linebacker from Maryland and Cincinnati. Bill Bailey was just a few years older than me, went to school with my sister. Known as a great football player, a great man, great career at Rutgers. Jen Milford, who was a classmate of mine, actually had a tremendous impact on my NFL career. She doesn't realize this, but we were great friends. Jen, her husband Adam, my wife Katie, and we'd all go to Macapin to the middle school socials. And Jen Milford beat me so badly in basketball that I changed my career from NBA to NFL. So I want to thank Jen. I want to thank Jen for that. You know, and going to West Milford, you had the opportunity to have wonderful coaches. And Gil just mentioned several of them. I'm going to get to the football team in a little bit, but also wanted to spend some time and thank Coach Bob Dondiero, who was Adams and I freshman year basketball coach. Great coach. He could probably still shoot 53 throws in a row today as he did back then. Coach Fink was a basketball coach. I think I played 1 or 2 years. My mom is telling me 2, but I thought 1. I was 6'4", 285 pounds, so about 80 pounds bigger than I am today. And he ran the fast break offense. I wasn't exactly a good fit. But on the football field, I just had tremendous coaches. Coach Harding was the head coach. Gil was my offensive and defensive line coach. Blakely, Drans, Poppy were all phenomenal coaches, all the people that you've heard today. What does a phenomenal coach mean? Well, Coach Angelo said he took a lot of pride in being called coach. Being a phenomenal coach honestly has nothing to do with whether you won 200 games or 300 games or 400 games. What made our coaches great, what made West Milford great, is that the coaches were raising young men and young women. And that's what they valued well above sports. I will share one memory with Coach Harding. I was a big kid in high school. I think he was at a sophomore. I was 6'4", 200-something pounds. And I was this good kid. I had great parents, and they raised me to be a good kid and a good student in school. And Coach Harding pulled me aside, and he said, listen, Lenny, you're a good kid. And we always want you to be a good kid. Your teachers speak highly of you. You're the kid that we want walking grandma across the street. Those things should not change. But on the football field, you're not supposed to be the good kid. Football's tough, and football's physical. And that helped me change my mindset and had a big part of how I learned how to play football. And I just want to thank Coach Harding for that. And with my last 2 minutes, Angelo, and we were only supposed to speak 3 to 5. I think you took 15. But in my last 2 minutes, I want to thank 2 great West Milford families. I'm going to start with my parents. Mike and Sandy Friedman put 4 kids through West Milford High School. We lived at the bottom of West Milford. For midget football, we were going up to the mountain. So every day, 4 days a week, drive me all over the place. Never missed a middle school game, a high school game. Never missed a college game. Went to 90% of my pro football games. I couldn't ask for better parents. I wouldn't be here today getting this honor without them. Couldn't ask for a better life. So thank you very much, Mom and Dad. The other West Milford family I'd like to thank are the Nolans. Bob and Eileen back there. Bob and Eileen put 4 student athletes through West Milford High School. My particular favorite is their oldest daughter. Katie and I were in school together, and Katie and I started dating my senior year, right before football season. And that made my parents a little nervous because they were afraid she was going to distract me from the all-important senior season. Well, distract me she did. And she continues today. We have 3 wonderful kids. We're going on our 18th wedding anniversary, and she's just the love of my life. Thank you all. It's a tremendous honor to be here.
Great job, Lenny. And we have one more individual inductee before we take another real short break and the main course. And that's Jen Milford. Our presenter is our head boys basketball coach. He was the former head girls soccer coach at the time when Jen was in West Milford High School. That's presenter John Fink. This one. It's hot.
It's a hot mic. All right. You know, my idol has always been Coach Dondiero because he's a very good speaker. He really knows how to use a microphone. And I wrote at the top of my speech, I just want.
It's two-sided.
What's that say?
3 minutes.
It says 3 minutes. Not sure. Not sure. But I'll try. I have a lot of relationships with a lot of people in this room. To the '89 baseball team, who many of them played on my JV team before they got to Coach Anzalone. Congratulations. You guys were an amazing group of guys and some of the best athletes I ever coached. Shunky skipped me. He went right to Anzalone, but the rest of you guys were great. Before we get into this very well-deserving induction, everybody's thanked them, but it really has to be said by every speaker that comes up here. This would not be happening tonight without Joe Trenicosta and Tim Gillen, so thank you very much. I cannot believe the turnout here tonight from all walks of life, from the West Milford Highlander family, from the 60s through the 70s, through the 80s, which I'm kind of partial to the 90s. I see people who literally I coached for softball, for soccer, and kids I played with. You know, I played basketball and baseball with Kevin, coached Shannon. It's just an amazing night. It really is. I go way back with a guy that's going to be inducted in a few minutes, Mike Deering. Mike, you still here? Oh, right in front of me, Michael. Congratulations, Mike. There's nobody more deserving in this room than Mike Deering for being here tonight. I've had the pleasure of coaching or playing with almost every inductee here tonight, or playing for. Coach Dondiero was my basketball coach. You skipped out on a year, Coach, but we won't mention that year. Nobody talks about that year. It's erased from the annals of the West Milford basketball program. That year, you know, we don't want to talk about that year. Coach had some back surgery and he left us with. Coach Zimmerman was there for that situation. He was our JV coach at the time. So I played for Coach Dondiero, I played for Coach Zimmerman, and of course, sitting at the same table as Coach Zimmerman is my soccer coach and my freshman basketball coach, Bob Worth, who could easily have been inducted also tonight. So congratulations to all of you guys. But my JV baseball coach is also here tonight, who just got inducted into the Hall of Fame. Coach Anzalone, congratulations. Coach is my JV baseball coach, and he is a tremendous baseball coach. He really is. He did coach golf with me for 1 year, and I told him, please leave the players alone. Don't talk to them. Just come play golf with me, because that's very true. Yes, I know. So I'm up here tonight to induct maybe the most decorated female athlete in the history of West Milford High School. I consider it an absolute honor to be chosen to be up here in front of you. This female athlete is groundbreaking. She pushed herself not only on the playing field and on the court, but in the classroom as well. We're talking about the early 90s now, and she was just a groundbreaking athlete. She was so gifted as an athlete, she helped raise the level of her sports programs, girls soccer, basketball for Coach Zimmerman, and softball for Drans, to a level that really hasn't been seen since. She's the only athlete that I know of in the history of the school to win a county title in all 3 sports her senior year. Girls soccer, basketball, softball. She earned 12 varsity letters. That's every year of every season that she could be part of. She was named county in all 4 seasons in softball. Drans, nice job. Very good work there, Drans, making her as good as she is. 3 years in soccer. Not that I could take any credit for that, but I was very lucky to have her on the team. And 2 in basketball, which would have been 3, but she got mono her sophomore year, so she didn't make it. That's 9 all-county awards in a possible 12 seasons. That is unheard of in the history of our school. Congratulations, Jen. She was all-state, all groups by the Star-Ledger her junior year in softball, and was recognized by the state in all 3 sports her senior year. I was lucky enough to coach Jen, to be around her and watch her physically gifted athletic ability in 8 of her 12 seasons. I was the assistant coach in softball, and I was the head coach in soccer. She scored 1,000 points and grabbed 1,000 rebounds during her basketball career. She was in the top 10 in her class, and she's the only female athlete in the history of West Milford High School to be named Passaic County Athlete of the Year. It's my pleasure and my honor to introduce Jen Milward Romeo as the next inductee into the West Milford Hall of Fame.
Go ahead, Jen.
Congratulations. So happy it was me. Yeah, I'll be up there. I'm going to give you a ring. Oh, no. It says no. That's so cool. Right here for you. I like it. Good job.
Okay. Yeah. This one? This one? Can you hear me? Okay. I'm not as an eloquent speaker as Lenny, so I'm going to read off my speech. The first thing I'd like to do is thank the West Milford Hall of Fame Committee for selecting me for such a great honor. So thank you all. I feel extremely proud that you deemed my accomplishments as a high school athlete worthy of induction into the inaugural class. I share this honor with my family, my teammates, coaches, and friends, without whom none of it would have been possible. Many of these people are here tonight, all of whom are still extremely important to me. Fink, Drans, Mr. Zimmerman, thank you all for an amazing high school experience. My life has come full circle in many ways, as I'm a teacher myself. I'm a high school varsity soccer coach, and I'm a parent of an athlete myself. John Fink's mother was my preschool teacher. He was the director of the Bubbling Springs Lake, where I attended when I was a child. In high school, he was my soccer coach and one of the assistant softball coaches, and now my son attends his basketball camp. I had Leisha Space's daughter as a student last year. Meg Rena's son and my son played soccer against each other last spring. And I'm colleagues with Kelly Evans' husband. It really is such a small world. And it all started here in West Milford. Athletics are not just about achievement. In the grand scheme of things, it's about the journey, the lessons learned along the journey, and the memories made while on that journey. As a high school soccer coach myself, I try to instill this in my athletes. The 4 years of high school flies by so fast, and all you are left with are these lessons and memories, which I cherish to this day. From starting my high school softball career the summer before I entered 9th grade with Robin, to making the Tournament of Champions finals in basketball my senior year with all these amazing ladies from the 94-95 team being honored here tonight, to one of my best friends, Lisa. I'm right here. We met playing soccer in the 5th grade and have been inseparable since. We played soccer, basketball, and softball together. I love you. It's not the season record that sticks with me, but the individual moments and relationships made along the way. You heard Lenny speak about myself, my husband, Katie, and he being great friends. This banquet brought Katie back so I could see her again. Two of my other friends are here, Jay and Katie. Jay Nora and I graduated kindergarten together. He and my husband are now best friends. Each situation taught me a valuable lesson, the most important of which is to always give your best effort in whatever you do and to recognize the strengths in those around you. As I stand here before you tonight, I'm still in awe of the fact that I am being honored in the same class as all these amazing inductees. I'm humbled to be in the presence of so many outstanding athletes, coaches, teams, and amazing people, and would like to congratulate everyone. I would not be here tonight without the enduring support of my parents, who drove me to every practice, came to all my games, cheered me on at every tournament, dealt with all of my mood swings when we didn't do well. I'd also like to thank my in-laws who are no longer with us. They came to all of my games as well, as my husband and I met when we were in high school. To my husband, Adam, who has been a constant support since we were juniors in high school. He made every game he could, even when he was in season himself. Now, as a father, he has been instrumental in instilling his passion for athletics and hard work in our children. A little fun fact, he also saved my mom's life one time when she almost blew off the bleachers at one of my softball games. To my children, Anthony and Riley, I love you more than you will ever know. Daddy and I are so very proud of the people you are and can't wait to see what the future holds. You can achieve anything that you want if you set your mind to it, work hard, and always do your best. In closing, I'd like to quote Dr. Seuss, "Sometimes you will never know the value of the moment until it becomes a memory." Thank you.
Congratulations, Jen. Great job. So as we prepare for our main course, it says that we're going to take a break. We're going to show a video. There's some people that wanted to be here tonight that couldn't, and they, with the help of our liaisons and our coaches and people on our executive committee, we were able to get some video of some people that could not be here tonight but wanted to congratulate our guests. So this will act as our break as the food is served, hopefully soon. And we will continue on with our inductees after this short video. In the meantime, I just want to announce also, after we do our signing of our books, I know a lot of people were still gathering earlier, but we're doing posters with favorite books of all of our inductees. That's going to happen tomorrow after our assembly. We're very excited about that. Mr. Citro, our principal at the middle school, and Mr. Stryans at the high school, they're going to be leading a tour of the building, the campus, through the high school into the middle school, where there'll be a reception to follow. And we're very excited about that. We have our Hall of Fame game, better known as the Gorski Bowl, tomorrow night against Fairlawn. And again, it's up at our McCormick Field at 6:30. So good luck, go Highlanders. And at that game, our associate AD, who is about to be inducted tonight as our special contributor, who we all love and is definitely the most deserving here, Michael Guerin, will do our coin toss tomorrow at the 50-yard line before the game. So let's give it up to Mike. I have to turn the volume up. And then I got to go over there now. I got to turn the volume up 1 second. And at halftime of tomorrow night's game, the voice of the Highlanders, who you just heard, who does a great job speaking, he doesn't give himself enough credit, Mr. Fink will announce our inductees tomorrow at halftime at midfield. Thank you, Mr. Fink, for doing that tomorrow night.
Wow. Bill Beetle Bailey going into the Hall of Fame at West Milford. He should be there. One of my favorite players ever at Rutgers. Great person first. Heck of a running back also. As a running back, man, great balance, great feet, tough, hard-nosed. But really, he should be in the Hall of Fame because of the kind of person he is. Bill, like a lot of freshmen, struggled academically his first year in college. And in fact, we didn't even let him in spring football. I made him go in and study every day rather than be in spring practice. But boy, did he study, and he became a very good student. And what an ambassador he was for Rutgers. What a great job he has done advising other student athletes at Rutgers down through the years to get their stuff together academically. Congratulations, Beto, and congratulations to West Milford for putting that guy in the Hall of Fame. He should be there.
Hey Lenny, congrats on making the West Milford Hall of Fame. Well deserved, buddy. I wish you the best. You are always a great player, and more than that, you're a great person and a great mentor and a great friend.
Hey Lenny, Joe Thomas here, your former teammate in Cleveland, and I just wanted to let you know that I'm really proud of you and congratulations on your induction into the West Milford High School Athletic Hall of Fame. You definitely deserve it. You were a great player in Cleveland next to me, a great teammate, and a great friend. Congrats.
Congratulations, Phillip Author, on being inducted into the West Milford Hall of Fame. It seems like only yesterday where we recruited you from Ferrum Junior College to come to the College of William Mary and be a running back for us. Under no circumstances did I ever believe you would be as great as you were. You set the William Mary standard for rushing, I think, was 1,385 yards, which is impressive. But the previous record was set by Jack Cloud at 710 yards, so you broke it to smithereens. Not only were you a great football player, you're a great teammate, a great individual, and the contribution you made to William Mary cannot be minimized. You are an outstanding football player, Phil, and I say this sincerely. I've coached at Arkansas, Minnesota, Notre Dame, South Carolina. You could have played for me at any of those schools. That's how good you are. Congratulations once again. I'm so sorry I can't be there personally, but my wife's health is not in the best of shape. Nevertheless, it just gives me a great pleasure to congratulate you on an honor. Well deserved, as I said. What took him so long? Then I found out you're in the first class of inductees. Congratulations.
Lou Holtz, who was Phil's coach at William & Mary, where he had all of these wonderful accomplishments. Phil was a starting fullback at Ferrum Junior College in 1968 when we won the Junior College National Championship. We were undefeated. And I just want to say a few things about our teammates who went on to Marshall University. 7 of our teammates the year after that perished in a plane crash. And we think of those teammates every day. And they were wonderful, wonderful people. And the examples that they set for all of us keep us going today. Now, after Ferrum College, Phil went on to William & Mary, where he set tremendous records in the Southern Conference. And he was rushing for 1,386 yards for the season, and a single game record of 257 yards. As the legendary coach Lou Holtz said. And he rushed for over 100 yards in the 1970 Orlando Tangerine Bowl, which William & Mary was
their last bowl appearance since then. And in that season, he was third in the nation in all-purpose rushing yards, rushing, pass receiving, and kick returns. And he was ninth in the entire nation in rushing that year. He finished his second year at William & Mary averaging over 100 yards per game. He was named Southern Conference Football Player of the Year in 1970 and the Southern Conference Athlete of the Year in 1971. After 48 years, Phil still holds most of the records at William & Mary. Is anybody going to step up? But Phil and I have become very good friends over the years. He would come by my house on Christmas Eve and bring my children, Christopher and Nicole, presents. And last night, he met my grandchildren, Christopher's two little girls. And it's just a wonderful life that we have. And I just want to say, whatever you give will grow, and whatever you keep will perish. And I'm honored to introduce my good friend, Phillip Author.
I'm proud to be a Highlander. Thank you, Mike. I just found out yesterday how good Mike was in high school. He played at Montclair High School, and he used to allude to the fact that, yeah, they had some pretty good teams. I'm looking at a book at his house. He won 3 state championships when he was at Montclair. They lost 1 game in 3 years. I said, Mike, you never told me how good you guys were. So he's a pretty modest guy. I didn't really have to compete with him much at Ferrum. He blew his knee out the year before that. And in those days, if your knee went, you were done. So I didn't have to really do too much with Mike. So you heard Tim and Joe speak about tying the past to the present. Well, I am the distant past. 50 years, I mean, I'm thinking about 50 years, and I hope I don't look it, but I am it, okay? Well, thank you. And believe me, I feel it. So I was in the 5th graduating class at West Milford. So it was a very new school. New schools traditionally don't do very well. Now, you've heard tonight about the first coach at West Milford. Well, when I was in the 8th grade, that guy was my earth science teacher. And I would go over to Newfoundland Field before we had a field and watch the freshman team play. My brother, who was 200 pounds on the freshman team, tough guy, big guy, and just doing very well. I'd watch them play. I weighed about 95 pounds. It wasn't looking like I was going to be a football player. But that coach, Bob Gunderman, cornered me in the hallway one day, and he said, "You're going to be out there next year." And I don't think he was asking me, he was telling me. And I kind of looked at myself like, maybe you don't see that I'm 95 pounds. And he pointed his finger at me and he said, "I've seen you run. You can run, you're quick, you can play." That's all it took. That was it. That was the spark that lighted the fire in me. And so, just said that schools don't do well with new schools. Well, in our 3rd year, after a couple losing seasons, my sophomore year, Bob Gunderman led us to a 7-2 record. We won the Skyline Conference, which is unheard of. So thank you, Bob, for getting West Milford off to a great start. And thank you for lighting a fire in me. I was actually better in high school in baseball. This summer has been great as a nostalgia trip for me. I always said when I get old, I'm going to get out my yearbook and see, look things up and see how I did. Well, it's time. And this lit the fire in me to get those things out. And I'm looking at articles and I said, wow, I was all suburban. I batted .407. I stole 22 bases. I was a pretty good baseball player. But I loved football. And I had a desire to play college football. I had no desire, well, I shouldn't say I didn't have a desire. I had no expectations of being a star. And someone mentioned earlier about doing the best you can. I think that's all I have ever tried to do, is just be the best that I could be. When I think back of how hard I trained, and I go, wow, how did I do that? I ran hills. I lifted weights before anyone else lifted weights. Why? Because I needed to get bigger. I wasn't big enough. I was told lifting weights won't be good for you. You won't be able, you get tight, you won't be able to run. And that wasn't true. But I said, well, I need to get bigger. And I guess I worked so hard just to play. And in the end, I achieved a whole lot more than I ever set out to do. So I just wanted to, you heard Coach Holtz speak some great things about me. And I played for not only one great coach, I played for two, counting Bob Gunderman here at West Milford. Number 3, I had a great coach at Ferrum Junior College. All these guys were young coaches. And I came to realize what they all had in common. You could call it, they were players' coaches. What's that mean? That means they cared about their players. And they were tough. That didn't mean they were easy. They were very tough. I heard Pete, again, Pete speaking about how they train for baseball. I'm with Lenny. I don't think I want to play baseball, right? That's tough. But that's what it takes. And that's the coaches that I'm talking about were tough in that regard. And we get together at Ferrum and tell stories, and Coach Norton says, fellas, you're making me nervous. I'm thinking maybe you're going to pull out a rope, because I was pretty tough on you guys. So I just want to read something that Coach Holtz had written. And I was very fortunate to have an opportunity to get on the field at William & Mary. And I've always wondered why I never got off. And now I understand from this letter that he had written. Phil, you have the unique ability to be very, very productive. And at the same time, you are exceptionally reliable. Well, darn, I'm looking for employees like that. Any of the coaches here today would say, that's the kind of guys I'm looking for. Productive and reliable, trustworthy. So I'm proud to hear that about myself, and that's been my goal in life. And if we all strive to do that, I think we'll do very well. So I want to thank my family for being here, and I want to thank my friends for being here. I have a friend that came all the way from Virginia Beach, my teammates, and my former classmates at West Milford. And again, I'm proud to be a Highlander. I'm very thankful for the opportunities that I had, and if I could tell you the whole story of how I got to be at William & Mary, it would take a while, but it's quite a story. And you would say someone was looking out for him and providing a way for him. So I want to thank God, and I want to ask God to bless us all and to bless America and continue to keep us in his blessings. And thank you all for being here. And I'm in 2 other Hall of Fame, 2 college Hall of Fames, and West Milford has done it right. Better than the 2 college Hall of Fames I'm in. So thank you for all the work that you've done.
Phil. On behalf of the Hall of Fame, I'd like to present you with this one. And thank you for your nice words. Next up, we have student athlete Megan Rena, presenter, her former head basketball coach, and Hall of Fame coach Elmer Zimmerman.
Well, I count it an honor and a privilege to really be part of the West Milford Hall of Fame. There's so many friends and family, and I just really am happy to see everyone again. Some have come a long way to be here, and so it's amazing to be part of the West Milford team here. Before I introduce Megan, I just want to make a couple comments. I should have listened to my wife. After 51 years of marriage, you'd think you listened to her, right? I wrote my notes so small I can't even see them, so forget the notes. Not quite, but I'd like to thank my wife and my family for their support, loving support all those years of coaching. As was mentioned before, it's very hard to be out and running around every night after night, scouting, coaching, and so on, and neglect your family to some degree, but that's kind of what it takes sometimes, so I appreciate them. I'd like to thank the Lord because He gave me that opportunity to coach for all those many, many years, and I've just been blessed by all the kids that we've had. I'm thankful for every tennis player, every basketball player I coached, and had a lot of blessing and fun with them. And way back when I coached with Bob Dondiero, I had the freshman basketball team, I had the JV basketball team, the boys teams, and we had some fun times then. And some of those people are here tonight, like John Fink and so on. Coach Dondiero was, you know him, he's a very mild, non-emotional guy, quiet on the sideline. So I started coaching with him in the boys basketball. And he had a famous thing. He would say, "Is this a football game or a basketball game? Blow that whistle." And so I did that one time in one of my games, like on my first technical, my last one too. Well, we were blessed to have a lot of great kids in our basketball team, our program. And, you know, we had 4 1,000-point scorers on the same team. And these young girls we took a look at when they were young in 8th grade. We said, wow, they're going to be really good. And they just kept getting better and better and better. So one of those young ladies that I get the pleasure of introducing tonight again, a Hall of Fame girl, Megan Rena. Come over, Megan, please. I'm going to make a few comments about Megan. Megan reminded me of the advertisement of the Energizer Bunny on TV. Did you ever see that one? She always had energy. I don't know where it came from, but she always had it. She was always out there, never ran out of gas. She said, "Okay, Coach, I'm ready, put me in," you know? So it was great. And she seemed to get up for every game, got her teammates up for every game. And all that energy was right there. I think Megan was probably the most pure shooter I had ever seen at West Milford High School. When the ball game was very close and the other team needed the ball and they needed the foul, we always wanted the ball in her hand because she's such a great shooter. She was fast, talented, she could defend, she was a great offensive player, and so there was no doubt that she was going to be a great college player as well in soccer and basketball. She's a star in both of them. As I mentioned before, she is a good team player, got everybody involved in the game, and when the other game was the team, as I mentioned before, was forced into having the foul, I think one state game she made 19 out of 21 foul shots. And we won the game, of course. She's just a great, great shooter. So I'm just going to read a couple notes about Megan's success. She was a 1,000-point scorer, one of the 1,000-point scorers we had. She was first team All-County, first team All-Conference, first team All-State, won the Passaic County three-point shooting contest, and the list goes on and on. In addition to being a high-scoring basketball star, she was a great soccer star. There was no doubt in my mind that if she went on to college, she would be a great star in basketball and soccer again too. She was ready for the next challenge at college, did really well there as well. So it's a pleasure to have had Megan and introduce Megan tonight for a Hall of Fame, but a pleasure to have her as a coach and a blessing to us. Thank you very much.
So much.
Thank you, Coach Zimmerman. I would like to begin by congratulating all of the inductees, individuals, coaches, and teams. Being inducted into the first Athletic Hall of Fame in the history of the West Milford School District speaks words for itself. The impact each inductee had on both individual, team honors, records, and memories is unforgettable. I feel so honored being recognized alongside each and every one of you. I would like to give a special thank you to West Milford's Hall of Fame committee for starting such a wonderful tradition and organizing an amazing event to celebrate. I hope this tradition is one that continues for many years. Without this dedicated committee, we wouldn't be here all together celebrating tonight. When I asked my family and friends about my speech tonight, they were quick to tell me to keep it short and simple. Well, it's not always as easy as that. I kept finding myself back at the same question. How did athletics impact me as a person, and what did I really learn? As I thought about those questions, I reminisced about many championships, honors, celebrations, goals, and point-scoring records, heartbreaking defeats, the injuries that happen to the best of us. But more than that, I realized I have a deeper appreciation of the things that have supported me, taught me life lessons, and motivated me every step of the way. 3 things that we all need to be happy and successful, no matter what we are doing or where we are: teammates, leaders, and family. Even when you've played the game of your life, it's the feeling of teamwork that you'll remember. You'll forget the plays, the shots, and the scores, but you'll never forget your teammates. This quote was a perfect reflection of my soccer and basketball teams at West Milford. Some people play sports, and at the end of practice or a game, they walk away and don't see or talk to one another until the next game or practice. They are just simply teammates. I was fortunate to have a group of girls that I not only called my teammates, but my friends. No matter how often we speak or see one another, the bonds that were created by working together to achieve our team goals or pushing ourselves to be the best we could, not only for our teammates, but for those we called our friends, are everlasting. Memories we made together that will always stay with me, like our superstitions, running out to Van Halen's right now, bagel breakfasts, pasta parties, celebrating a win at Friendly's, late night celebrations at Lindsay's, concerts in the back of the bus, sometimes getting us in trouble with Fink, as we definitely should not have been singing after a loss. I cherish these memories and all of the experiences we shared together. I thank you all for making me not only a better athlete, but teaching me the true meaning of teammates, and that success is only as great as those that helped you get there. Behind every fearless player is a fearless coach who refused to let them be anything but the best. This quote defines the leadership of both Coach Zimmerman and Coach Fink. Without their intense dedication to our teams, we would have never reached the success that we did. Coach Zimmerman and Coach Fink made me better, constantly raising the bar, expecting nothing but the best in what I did. But more than that, they believed in me and supported me, and for that I am grateful. They groomed me into the successful athlete that I later became at William Paterson. Coach Zimmerman, first, I would like to congratulate you on your own induction into the Hall of Fame. It is well deserved, and I am honored to be inducted with you this year. You led our team to conference, county, and state sectional championships, along with one of the biggest championships we ever accomplished, the Group 4 State Championship, paving the way to the Tournament of Champions final appearance, an experience that not many are lucky enough to ever have. Regardless of how important or big any game was, you always remained calm, collective, and positive. You had a way to encourage us without putting us down or ever raising your voice. You had an amazing career. We had an amazing career together, and I will forever remember it. Coach Fink, You were an amazing coach who expected the best of all his players. You pushed each athlete outside of their comfort level, and I was no exception. I was actually usually the example. You might not know it, but by junior year, Kane and I had you figured out. We would either hear, "Rena, one pass away. Rena, what are you doing?" As soon as we heard you yell that, Kane would say, "See you later, Meg," and I would already be on my way back to the bench. We knew before you even did that Rena was coming out. I know that all of your high expectations were to make me a better soccer player and a better athlete in general. You went above and beyond for me on and off the soccer field, especially in my senior year when I didn't know where to go and what sport to pursue. You talked to numerous college coaches on my behalf. You advocated not only my athleticism, but my ability to be a great leader, student, and individual. I will never forget the influence you had on me as a player and a person. Families are the compass that guide us. They are the inspiration to reach great heights and our comfort when we occasionally falter. My family has been there to guide, encourage, and influence me. They were always there to cheer for lopsided victories and painful defeats alike. They are the ones that give us opportunities to be involved in sports and sacrifice their own interests to make our lives the best they could. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That was the theme in the Rena household growing up with 3 brothers. And while to this day they'll never admit to me beating them in every game of one-on-one in the driveway, their secret is safe with me. To all of them, I thank you for your support, encouragement, and love throughout the years. I look forward to watching our children as they continue to grow. Reminiscing about how all the things they do to drive us crazy is exactly what we did to Mom and Dad. Mom, thank you for being my taxi driver. Even though we may have been late to everything, you always got me where I needed to be. You were the one who always pushed me to do more and do better, reminding me quite often to have confidence and that I was awesome no matter how bad I may have felt after a tough loss or a bad game. You always pushed me to try new things, encouraging me that I could succeed at anything. Thank you for your unconditional love and support. I hope that I can emulate the mother you are and provide the support and encouragement you gave me to my 4 children. Dad, you were the best coach I ever had in sports and in life. You were my support when I was down and my personal trainer in the driveway and in the gym. Selflessly rebounding for hours upon hours in the heat, rain, and snow. Just to make me better, constantly praising me when my shot was perfect and gently correcting me if it was off. I have memories where just a certain look, whistle, or nod from the bleachers made such a difference when things were going wrong during a game. You were my biggest fan and continue to be to this day. You taught me the qualities of being a great teammate and person by always reminding me to kill with kindness, be modest, never talk about how good I was, just prove myself on the court or the field. You might not know it, but I have and always will admire you. Last but not least, my husband, Chris. It was in the West Milford High School gym that our story began. And ever since, you have supported me in all walks of life. You were one of my biggest fans, always reminding me how great I was and lifting my confidence when I was down. We have built a team of our own with our 4 children. I look forward to leading our own little team in athletics and life together, teaching them and instilling in them what athletics and family has taught us, to be there and support each of them no matter what path they choose. So one day, when they are up here receiving an award, part of what they reflect on is the love and support we provide them day in and day out. Receiving this honor has really given me an opportunity to think about my time at West Milford, and it has really been heartwarming to reflect back on the memories, teams, coaches, and achievements. I know that I was lucky to attend West Milford and have experienced all that I did during my 4 years there. I have an even greater appreciation of teamwork and friendship, leadership and family. These things have molded me into the person I am today. I couldn't have done it without all of you. Thank you.
behalf of the Hall of Fame, I'd like to present this to Megan. Congratulations. Great job. Nice job. At this time, for Kevin Walker, we'd like to have presenter Lonnie Brandon, first close to a friend to Kevin Walker come out. And as Lonnie walks up, we just wanted to mention that you've heard a lot about connecting the past with the present and the future. And our Hall of Fame committee honors one most dedicated award for every team. So every awards dinner, there's one most dedicated, and this Hall of Fame sponsors that trophy currently for every season. So 10 sports seasons in the fall, 10 in the winter, and 9 in the spring. Get a most dedicated trophy from this Hall of Fame. In addition, one male and one female athlete is considered the Student Athlete of the Year for West Milford. I'm sorry, come on up. And they are given the scholarship on behalf of the Hall of Fame as well. So with that, for Kevin Walker, let's bring up his friend Lonnie. Thank you, Lonnie.
I'll just give you time to get up here.
I prefer to hold these things in my hand when I talk. But I'd like to open by congratulating all of these fine student athletes from West Milford High School. So everybody, please give them a hand. You know, I'm from Montclair, and Mike Ferluto, who was just up, was my teammate at Montclair High School. So we're the only two non-Highlanders on this program tonight. So I'll let you know we come from Montclair. We're the winningest football program in the state of New Jersey, by the way. And there are about 6 more Mounties in the back, so hold your booze. You know, I've been listed in the program as Kevin Walker's friend. But our relationship goes much deeper than that. My first exposure to Kevin's family goes back to 1950 when I was born. See, my parents made their first home in the home of Kevin's grandparents. His grandmother had passed away, and his grandfather was a over-the-road truck driver. Didn't spend a whole lot of time at home. So my mom went to church with his family, and she had just gotten married, and they asked her and my father to move into the house because his mom and her siblings, most of them were still in high school. So they wanted this adult presence in the home. So that's how far back Kevin Walker and I go, long before he was born. His mom, Guerin, and her 5 siblings were really happy to have a newborn in their house in 1950. You know, back in 1950, I was kind of a cute guy. You know, I can't speak for it now. But that's our relationship. You know, several years later, Guerin, who was Kevin's mom, moved up to West Milford. And back in Essex County, we thought she had moved to Alaska somewhere. So we didn't have a whole lot of exposure until we got in the car and we drove the 45, 50 minutes that seemed like 3 hours up to West Milford. But Guerin moved into West Milford and became an icon in the community. She raised her children there, and they all became very active in the community. Kevin was a member of Boy Scout Troop 139, an active member of the Echo Lake Baptist Church. He played the trumpet in middle school. I don't think anybody knows that. I just found that out. And he did not play organized football until the 9th grade. And his brother Bobby thought it was apropos that I mentioned that he took the first kickoff that he ever received and ran it back for a touchdown. Kevin graduated from West Milford High School in 1984 as president of his senior class. And as your program will tell you, he lettered in 3 sports: baseball, basketball, and football. In the New Jersey State High School Baseball All-Star Game, Kevin hit a home run off future Major League pitcher Al Leiter, who later played. Go ahead and clap for that. That's an accomplishment. Leiter went on to play for the Yankees, the Blue Jays, and the Mets. Kevin was determined to play football at the highest level. He was recruited by Boston College, Syracuse, Maryland, Holy Cross, and Penn State, just to name a few of the schools who sought his services. I had the honor of taking Kevin to his visit to Penn State. And we spent a whole weekend there, and I wasn't real happy with Penn State. The coaches there decided that they wanted to talk to me about Quintus McDonald, who was an All-American at Montclair High School, that they were trying to get there, and they eventually did. So I was real happy when Kevin decided to go to the University of Maryland. Now, I did volunteered to drive Kevin down to Maryland for his first camp as a freshman. And unfortunately, I was out partying the night before, so I went to sleep in the back seat and Kevin drove. Well, we got about halfway down the New Jersey Turnpike, Kevin got pulled over for speeding. So I woke up and I flashed my badge to the trooper and told him where we were going, so he sent us on our way happily with no summons. Kevin played running back as a freshman at Maryland. And at some point, somebody realized that he was going to be a better linebacker. So as a sophomore, they moved him to linebacker. And during his career at Maryland, he played about 46 games. He played in the Blue-Gray College All-Star Game. And he was named a finalist for the Dick Butkus Award that's awarded to the outstanding linebacker in college football. Following his career at Maryland, he was drafted 3rd by the Cincinnati Bengals, the number 57th pick overall. Like many other college athletes, Kevin did not graduate in 4 years. But after his rookie year with the Bengals, he went back to Maryland and earned his degree. So that is a major accomplishment. And he never gave up. In fact, those of you who knew his mom knew that he was not going to give up. She was not going to have that. Kevin played 5 years in the NFL. His career was cut short by 3 knee injuries. However, he's the first player in NFL history to come back as a starter after having 2 ACL reconstructive surgeries. So that shows you his perseverance as a man. He played 44 games for the Bengals and amassed over 200 tackles. He also played in 3 playoff games. Unfortunately, the year they went to the Super Bowl down in Miami and played the 49ers, he was on the sideline with one of his knee injuries. Kevin had some real challenges in his personal life as he matured. He was only 27 years old when his mom passed. And she was really the glue that held his family together and was the inspiration for he and his siblings. Then, several years later, Kevin unfortunately lost his wife when she was only 44 years old. So he's been through the trials and tribulations of life and has come up on his feet and is doing very well. According to his siblings, who probably know more about him than anyone, Kevin's a hard worker, a survivor, shy, humble.
I think I got gravy on this.
He's a perfectionist, focused, an outstanding leader. He's a great sense of humor. He's charismatic, intelligent, a great cook, specializes in barbecue. And one thing I found out in talking to Kevin and his siblings, there was another attribute that he has that really kind of shocked me. I understand he's a very accomplished poet and does a lot of writing. He's a lover of rap and reggae music, big fan of Run DMC and Bob Marley. All that being said, Kevin's greatest accomplishment is his legacy of 3 children. His twin sons, Kyle and Kendall, and his daughter, Kara. It is my extreme pleasure and my honor to present to you Kevin Walker.
I guess between Lonnie and Coach Anslone, there is absolutely no time left. Thanks for coming out. Thank you, Lonnie, for that introduction. Wow. What a night, what an event. I tell you, it's so good to see everybody. It's just been so long since I've been back here, and it's just a phenomenal event. Tim and the Hall of Fame committee, I just wanted to thank you for your efforts in putting together a phenomenal night. I want to thank my family who's always supported me from day one. You're all back there. Love you guys. And I wanted to say, you know, it's truly an honor to be considered with all the great athletes over the past 50 years that have passed through the doors at West Milford High School. And just even to have that, your name mentioned amongst all these great athletes is truly an honor, and I'm just truly humbled by that. I wanted to also thank my coaches, Coach Poppy. Where's Coach Poppy? Coach Poppy, he was my position coach. Both ways, I was running back and a defensive back in high school, and every day he would yell at me in this tackling drill. You need to take on pressure at pressure's level. Pressure at pressure's level. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. What does that mean? Love Coach Poppy. And he did also coin the phrase, you know, I coached Little League football with my guys, and I stole a line from Coach Poppy because I remember the first time I got banged up, he asked me, "Are you hurt or injured?" That's the greatest line, because every time these little kids were crying, I used that, they stopped and they looked at me and they were like, what? Coach Blakely, so good to see you. Coach Anslone, I wanted to give a special thanks to Coach Harding for his support, his guidance through the recruiting process. It was a whirlwind experience, but you know, you were very consistent in staying in constant contact with me and helped me through that that process. I want to say thank you to Coach DeMarco. So good to see him. I forgot about all the baseball, to be honest with you, until Lonnie mentioned it. But also, I ran into Dr. McInerney. Is he still here? Oh, Dr. Mac. So good to see him. I tell you, had the opportunity to play the Blue-Gray All-Star game my senior year at University of Maryland, and broke my ankle like in the first quarter of the football game, and I was quite devastated. Didn't know what to do. You know, it was on Christmas Eve. I flew home, and my mom asked me, she's like, "What are you going to do?" I said, "I want to call Dr. McInerney and see if I can get back," because 2 weeks later was the East-West Shrine game out in San Francisco. So I saw Dr. McInerney short notice, got me in. Needless to say, 2 weeks later, was on the field, played the entire game. Thank you. Appreciate it. Wanted to give a special thanks to Ken Bohannon, who was my coach, the head coach my sophomore year, who was instrumental in my development as an athlete and as a man, because of the backlash he faced from starting a black player in a majority white high school. You know, he stuck with me in his decision. He saw only talent and not color, and that lesson serves me well even in my life today. So I wanted to thank Coach Bohannon for that. In reflection, the turning point in my life really occurred when I was a freshman. Many of you know Mike Palmer as the founder, owner, operator, head trainer of Fatty's Gym located in Crescent Park. I think many of us, I know Brian Walsh back there, that's where we trained. And I tell you, Mike is one of the best men I've ever met. And it was through his love and support that I have learned some of life's most valuable lessons. And as Lonnie mentioned, you know, my mom thought football was dangerous. So I was not allowed to play until my freshman year. But as soon as the season started, my mom suffered a medical emergency. And the ambulance was summoned, and I remember riding to the hospital and the paramedic saying, "We're losing her. We're losing her." And all I kept saying is, "Mom, hang in there, hang in there." She made it through the night. And it was a rough couple of days because I was just starting in school with football, etc. And the doctors came in the next day and they told her that she could not have the kids. She was not weak enough or not strong enough to have the kids. Because of her condition, she'd have to give us up for adoption or foster care. And needless to say, we were all devastated. And she cried. She's like, "You can't split up my family. You can't split up my family." And in comes Mike Palmer with documents, sat down at my mom's bedside and said, "Corny, nothing will ever stop me from taking care and looking after your kids." So my mom cried, and he kept his commitment. He said, "I'll always look after your kids. There's nothing that will ever happen to them." But that taught me so much about life, and that's where I really learned how to manage my life as a man while standing in the face of adversity. Had to go to class. Didn't know my mom was going to make it. Had to focus, study, train, and perform on the football field, perform in the classroom, not knowing what tomorrow held. So Mike taught me how to manage through all that. And, you know, I just wanted to make it known. Mike is probably one of the greatest men I've ever met in my life, and I tell you, I'm just really moved. And his son Shane here is like my brother. Thanks, son. I love you. Finally, in closing, Coach Anslem, the people at West Milford High School and in this place tonight have truly shaped my life. You know, as a husband, as a father, and as a man. First, as a husband, the fortitude. As Lonnie mentioned, I lost my wife for 22 years to a deadly disease. But through that, lessons I've learned here, the fortitude to carry that through, to keep my family together through such a trying time, especially the last 15 months of her life, it was just unbelievable. As a father, I learned teamwork because I've raised 3 kids, as Lonnie mentioned. I've been truly blessed, you know, with 3 student athletes that all earned full scholarships to college. I have a son that went to Indiana State, I had a son that went to Akron, and my daughter went to Ohio State. So they were all successful graduates and now have a successful start in life and finally off payroll. So I'm excited about that. And then lastly, as a man, I've learned tenacity to endure the many tough times and have learned how to come out on the other side smiling. So I wanted to say thank you for teaching me, thank you for accepting me, and thank you for giving me a great start in what has been a wonderful life. Thank you.
Once again, on behalf of the Hall of Fame, I'd like to give this ring to Kevin Walker. Great job, Kevin.
Thanks so much, sir. Pleasure.
And our 8th and final student athlete being inducted, and we have 2 more after that in closing. But our last student athlete, Donna Weinbrecht, and our presenter is former head ski coach Sean Poppy.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I tell you why this is better than any old high school class reunion that I've ever gone to. This is so much fun. It's been a great night. Spent a lot of time with a lot of people in this room, and it's just so great to see everybody. Good news, bad news. I got 4 pages. Well, I got 3 minutes. Good news is it's huge font. You know, I can't see that well anymore. I'm 60 years old, so it'll go quick. But congratulations to all that are being honored as the first West Milford High School Hall of Fame honorees class of 2018. Tonight, I have the honor to introduce a truly outstanding woman who's known not only in West Milford, but recognized nationally and globally for her achievements. Even has a sign on Route 23. So. Let me give a quick shout out to that High Crest crew because they've been together for years. So. But here at home, as Joe alluded to, that along with our friends, some of who are here tonight, started the West Milford High School ski team. So tonight is very humbling. I've had the pleasure to honor to introduce her on 2 previous occasions, but nothing quite as special as this. The first time was in June 1991 at a Donna Weinbrecht Day event at West Milford High School, or D-Day as Donna called it. As we sent Donna off with all our best wishes for her Olympic medal pursuit. In the next 8 months and 8 competitions that followed, Donna was on her way to becoming the first ever Olympic mogul gold medal winner in 1992 in Albertville, France. During her career, Donna went on to become one of the most accomplished freestyle mogul skiers ever. To name a few additional accomplishments, she was a 5-time International Ski Federation, also known as FIS, World Cup title winner, 46 individual World Cup mogul events, wins, 7 U.S. national championship titles, gold and 2 silver medals at the World Championships, and she's a member of the U.S. National Ski Hall of Fame and Vermont Ski Hall of Fame. The second time I had the pleasure of introducing Donna, I believe it was in 1993, I might lie because I guessed on that one, but when she was inducted into the Paterson Old Timers Hall of Fame. There you go. Unfortunately, Donna was out of town, so I had to accept the award for her, but I also had to try to explain what mogul skiing was to a lot of old timers. And for those of you who still might not know what mogul skiing is, it went something like this. I said, hey guys, look up here and just imagine 2 football fields way up in the sky. And then imagine a bunch of Volkswagens parked side to side, front to back, all the way up, and being on 2 pieces of wood and trying to get down it. I still don't know if I did a good job, but I hope you kind of get the idea. But tonight is the 3rd time I have the honor of introducing her. They say the 3rd time is a charm. The charm tonight is Donna. Maybe charming is a better word. Synonyms for charming are delightful, pleasant, polite, just to name a few. However, I need to add driven, focused, strong, awesome personality, an infectious and great laugh, and the ability to always bring a smile to all who know her. Today, Donna continues to do alumni work for the U.S. ski team and runs a women's ski camp at Killington Mountain in Vermont. In a previous thank you note, Donna wrote, quote, "The more I travel around the world, the more I appreciate coming back to my hometown. It's always great to be home." Whether her travels have taken her around the world to Vermont or participating in world-class events, Donna has shared that she always has taken a great part of her from West Milford. Whenever she has been invited to attend events in town or at the high school, she has responded with enthusiasm and made it her mission to be present. Donna will always be considered our hometown girl. It's my honor and privilege to present her to all of you tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome 3-time Olympian, Olympic gold medalist, and one of the newest members of West Milford High School's Hall of Fame, Ms. Donna Weinbrecht.
What I do, right?
I don't know. Is that good? Can you hear me back there? Can you hear me? Thanks, Coach Poppy, for all your kind words. And thank you for this great honor in my hometown. And congrats to all the Hall of Famers. We are the first, and that's kind of a running theme in my whole my athletic career. This winter, on February 13th, I'll be celebrating 27 years since my childhood dream came true. I went to my first Olympics. There was intense pressure and build-up. They had me as winning this because I had a reputation of winning like 8 in a row. So it was a lot of pressure for me, and it was a very new sport. So like Poppy said, everybody was wondering what it was all about, and I was the one leading the charge in this. We live outside of New York City, so I was doing a lot of morning shows, and CBS had the Olympics. So I remember one time being on live television, and Paula Zine asking me what a mogul was, and boy, it kind of threw me for a loop on live television to kind of, get thrown that question. But it was the first time it was going to be a full medal event, and they wanted to know more about it. So, there I was at the top of the course, and staring down 275 meters of just moguls and huge jumps, and really anything could go wrong. I mean, you're trying to go as fast as you can, be as tight as you can, throw the biggest degree of difficulty that you can and get the most points and be very clean at it. And, and try to do it as fast as you can, under 30 seconds. If better, that would be good. So anything can go wrong, but I always had a way of really grounding myself at the top of the course, and gratitude. I was so very thankful. Let me turn my page. Sorry, these are just bullet points, keeping myself on course here. I was so very grateful for representing my country at such a high level, and to find really what I was very good at, and to be able to shine and be in my place of power. The rest is really, history, that I won the first gold medal for freestyle mogul skiing, and yeah, and put my names in the books. But someone's brilliant schedule had us leaving the Olympics before closing ceremony, and we had to fly home. I had a 3-day break, and we had I had a home. Actually, I got a police escort to the High Crest Lake Lodge, which was awesome. And I missed the bullet point of dress nice because I went to a hockey game, Sweden versus U.S. Unfortunately, we lost, but it was nice to be able to go to one event and after my competition. So we had a hometown parade, and which was awesome in West Milford, and then I did Letterman, and then I did laundry. And Letterman thought that was really funny too. I mentioned that I was home before the closing ceremonies, but living out of a bag for months at a time, clean clothes is very important. But I really just wanted to get on the plane and reflect on what just happened. It's really a lifetime of a build-up. I dreamt it for so many more of my childhood friends, and anybody shows talent in anything, I was like, oh, maybe they'll go to the Olympics. So it was something that came true to me. But sitting on that plane, it just takes you back to really what it's all about. And someone said it here tonight, it was about the journey. And my journey was that I wanted to say thank you to my mom and dad. My mom and dad for deciding to build a house up in Killington, Vermont. And where I got to ski Outer Limits and know that there was actually a national freestyle team. And honing in my skills, because in Jersey, really, they didn't allow moguls to build up on the 3 runs, so they were very elusive, and I was interested. So I got to go on my first competitions there, and I was very thankful that Dad built us a home up there. Mom always wanted a house in the mountains. I want to also thank you to all the families. I mean, we vacationed together, we skied together, you supported me. A lot of them climbed Lake Placid, very, very cold Lake Placid, to see me compete in World Cups. There's families here tonight that went all the way over to Albertville and cheered me on. And then there were some that when I just came home and you celebrated at the lodge with me when I first brought home my World Cup globe. So I just wanted to recognize them and also recognize that we were my childhood friends that are here tonight too. We were really free-range kids. We just were always outside, and whether it was playing kickball in front of the Kale's house before we went to Apshua, or building a jump or a ramp or skateboarding. So you could see I was really much an X game type kind of gal, and I liked all those type of sports. But there's one friend who pretty much her family brought skiing to our whole lake in High Crest, was the Worrell family, and their daughter Julianne Worrell became quickly my best friend. And to give you some history about how the West Milford ski racing team was formed, her father had a business associate that was bragging about his 2 sons about how good they were doing in their high school racing team. And Julianne was like, all right. So then they went skiing together, and she said, my friends could beat them. So this is a freshman, and she petitioned, she put one in my hand, and we got a bunch of names signing it. And she went in front of the Board of Education, and they said that we need a coach. And Poppy was there to stand in, and that's how the West Milford ski racing team was formed. And there's a few athletes here tonight. So yeah, there's another first gold. And so David Kale, who is a teammate here tonight, he's also charging the whole mountain biking series and brought that, you know, to my nephew is enjoying that immensely. Todd Gillespie, his brother Tim, and his son Thomas. Thomas was on the team. And then my brother Jimmy, and then my sister Joy. And thank God I only had 1 year with my sister Joy, because she's a better ski racer than I was. And it came full circle where now I hiked this last winter up to see my nephew ski in his first race, Donna Weinbrecht. So it's awesome to kind of see it thrive, and you know, I'd come back from, you know, training or being abroad and be at the Killington and see all those cool outfits, the jackets, and I said, wow, that's a West Milford High School jacket. I go, I started that, we started that, and it gives me a lot of pride to see that, you know, the team is doing so well. And also Anton, you know, I know you like snowboarding, and I don't see why you can't have a snowboarding team. So you're going to have to be the leader and bring it. It's an Olympic event, and I don't see why not. So thank you so much for Coach Poppy for being our first coach, and thank you for you know, for putting me, West Milford, putting me in the starting gate at a very young age, and I really hope that I made the town of West Milford very proud. Thank you very much.
Once again, on behalf of the Hall of Fame, Donna Weinbrecht, congratulations.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, we know it's late, and we apologize for that. This is the first inaugural class. It's our first time, too. We're going to go quickly. There's a million people in the room that could speak volumes about this. Our special contributor. I, for one, for my 25 years in the district, could be up here forever, and we can't do that. But someone we haven't heard from yet, our former director of athletics, Mr. Larry Harding, former head coach of football, we've heard of already, is going to come up and introduce and install our special contributor, Michael Guerin. Larry?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to all our honorees for tonight. It's an outstanding night. It is indeed a pleasure for me to come back home and participate in the ceremonies for the first class of the induction of the West Milford High School Athletic Hall of Fame. I extend my congratulations to all our recipients. I would like to take this moment to congratulate Mr. Joe Trenicosta and the entire executive committee. We have talked about this for a long, long time, but Joe was the one, and Timmy finally got it done, and we appreciate that very much. To the honorees, your contributions during your high school careers and beyond have done West Milford very proud. We enjoyed watching you play in high school and hearing about your accomplishments in college and beyond. You have developed into outstanding men and women and always represented West Milford very well and are productive citizens contributing to our society. We are very, very proud of you. At this time, I would like to give you a little background about Mr. Michael Guerin. Unfortunately, I have 24 stories about Michael Guerin here, but Anzalone kind of took care of that, so you owe him a great deal of gratitude. Michael began involvement in West Milford High School athletics while in school as a student. He served as manager of the football, basketball, and baseball programs. Speaking personally, he was like a right hand to me. Whenever I asked Michael what to do for our program, he did it without question. He worked very hard to make sure everything was set up for our practices and games. He was a tremendous asset to me and our football program. We had many, many great times together, a lot of laughs. After graduation, Michael continued his involvement and expanded his role from manager to coach's assistant for many sports. In 2013, Michael's volunteer position was named Associate Athletic Director. Michael has served the West Milford Athletic Department for over 30 years. He is the only person in the athletic department whose service has spanned the last 6 athletic directors. His #1 baseball uniform jersey was retired in May of 2014. The Baseball Coaches Award is also named in his honor. Michael has also been recognized outside of West Milford for his dedication. He has received the Volunteer of the Year Award from the Paterson Old Timers Athletic Association. The Passaic County Coaches Association has honored Michael for several occasions with the 20-Year Service Award and the Honor Award. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my extreme pleasure to introduce Mr. Michael Guerin for induction to the West Milford High School Hall of Fame.
I'm speaking on behalf of Michael Guerin. I'm Marilyn Dondiero, and I'm really, I guess, besides being his friend, I'm his ShopRite buddy. I see him everywhere. I want to thank the West Milford Hall of Fame Committee for selecting me for this honor. I love serving the Highlander community, and I can safely say he's the proudest Highlander in the history of West Milford High School.
Congratulations again, Michael. I just want to do a shout out to the coaches in the room because coaches, just wave if you're out there, current coaches. We really appreciate you staying and being out here tonight. I say that because you know better than anybody, and for those who don't know, the person who really runs the athletic department is here tonight, and she was a huge and instrumental part of this Hall of Fame committee. That's Kathy Rena. Kathy, can you stand, please? We all love you. Great job. So for our final inductee, the installation of the Special Highlander Legacy Award. If you go to the football game tomorrow night, you'll see a rock dedicated by Mr. Greg Bailey and the Hall of Fame committee. It's painted black, and the art department just did a really nice WM on it. It looks beautiful. Decorated with mums, and it's going to be there for not just Brian Perello, but for all the legacy winners going forward for our Hall of Fame. At this time, I would like to bring up presenter David Bailey and Ryan Somm to induct Brian Perello as the Special Highlander Legacy Award recipient in class of 2018.
Mr. Bailey, I'll be quick. I know you have to work in an hour. Just a quick little story. I'm going to give a quick background on the Highlander legacy we call Brian Perello. For those that don't know me, my name is Ryan Song, and I was fortunate enough to be very good friends with Brian, along with the entire group well, over at the table. Sorry. Brian and I grew up together playing hockey. For those who didn't know him, Brian always did things with such passion, heart, and emotion. Brian would do anything for his friends and family, and if he had something on his mind, his determination to stick to his word and complete a task was unlike anyone else I've ever known. If you had the honor to know him, his humorous side was another great part of him. Mr. Guerin, Dondiero, Anzalone, Blakely, Fink, Trent. I think you could recall a few good stories, looking back now, are rather funny of Bob and Brian. Our final high school hockey game of our senior year was something I'll never forget. Mr. Guerin, I'm sure you won't forget that either. But let's just say there was a lot of heart, passion, and emotion in that one. Brian loved his choice, what he did, and going to the Marines. He was proud of it and stood behind it. And all of us gathered at these tables over here tonight remained in close touch with him throughout his time in the military. But 2 years after high school ended, so we were busy trying to figure out our paths, going to college, and our adult lives. I remember getting a call, and we were home from winter break, and I couldn't believe what I'd heard, that Brian was taken from us. It took a long time to really understand, what had happened up to that point. And I don't think something of that magnitude was really supposed to happen at that age. We were 20. And it was hard because of the impact Brian had on so many around him and the joy he brought to all of our lives. He was too young to be taken out early. But he left doing exactly what he loved, and he wouldn't want it any other way. To this day, we still do lots of things in Brian's presence, which is great. Close to 20 years later, I still play hockey a few miles down the road at the Ice Bowl with the same group of kids Brian and I grew up with. Brian's no longer out there or in the locker room pulling the antics I can't speak about in here. But I can tell you, I don't play one game without thinking of him. I couldn't be more honored to give you a few minutes of my time on his behalf and the lasting impact that he will forever have on more than just a few of us gathered here tonight. Thanks.
We stand up here tonight truly humbled to honor our dear friend and American hero, Marine Lance Corporal Brian Perello. We're honored, Ryan and I, to represent Brian's high school friends, his classmates, his teammates, and the class of 2003. On the morning of September 11th, 2001, all of our lives changed forever. It was our junior year of high school. Football practice was canceled that day. At 16 years old, we all were pretty unsure of how to feel, what to think, and what to do next. As was our country, we were all pretty shell-shocked. One of my vivid memories of September 11th is what happened that night. We all went home and logged on to our family desktop computers and went into our high school's group chat room, Harlem 98, before the days of texting. But I will never forget Brian Perello, or Rollo, as we call him, his presence in that chat room. He was angry. People were scared, sad, and unsure, but Brian's thoughts were clear and direct. While I can't share the exact words 16-year-old Brian Perello used, I'll condense. We're going to find the cowards who did this to our country, and we are going to make them pay. Some people talk the talk but never walk the walk. If Brian didn't talk about it, he was about it. From that day forward, Brian's mission was set. I had the honor of being Brian's teammate in football, along with a lot of the guys here tonight. Brian was the ultimate team-first guy. He was the guy you wanted next to you in the foxhole. We did not have a more selfless, hardworking, fearless guy on our team. Now, Brian was crazy, no doubt about it. I can still hear him screaming in the weight room after finishing a set, coaches rolling their eyes, this kid's crazy. Slapping my butt, trying to fire me up, and that was just on the way to English class in the morning. You should have seen him before the games. His energy, enthusiasm, and passion were contagious. Brian loved being a Highlander. and wearing the black and gold with his boys. It was no surprise when Brian won most school spirit for our class. I can still see him screaming and cheering for his classmates at all of our games, especially the basketball games, and especially when we played Lakeland. What we do in life echoes in eternity. I'll repeat that. What we do in life echoes in eternity. On January 1st, 2005, Brian was killed near the Euphrates River in Iraq, defending our way of life and the American dream. He was 19 years old. We sit here tonight feeling safe and comfortable because Brian and thousands of other young people choose to feel unsafe and uncomfortable and run into the danger to protect us here at home. While we were all out celebrating New Year's Eve in 2005, being goofy kids, Brian was making the ultimate sacrifice for us all. We'd all, like all of our friends, would really like to thank Brian's parents and his brothers, Matt and Anthony, for raising the incredible young man that you did. He was one of the most loyal people I've ever come across. He was not afraid to wear his heart on his sleeve, tell you that he loved you. He made you feel special and important, and he was forever faithful to all of us. They say everyone dies, but not everyone truly lives. Brian accomplished more and lived more in 19 years than most do in a lifetime. He's an American hero, a Highlander legend, and now he's a Hall of Famer. Thank you.
On behalf of Lance Corporal Brian Perello, we accept this honor. I know Brian would be...
Can shut it off on you.
On behalf of Lance Corporal Brian P. Perello, we accept this award. It's an honor to accept this now, and I know Brian would be very proud. Semper Fidelis.
Is this your dad's glasses? Somebody left some glasses up here, so we can check. I can't think of a more fitting award than a legacy award for Brian Perello. In any case, it's been a long night, but well worth it. Does everybody think we should do this again? Yes. Do you mind if we take a break for a little bit before we do it again? The plan is that every 2 years, which most schools do, very rarely do they do it every year. Some do it every 3 and 4, but our plan is to go every other year with an induction ceremony, but we will have activities during the course of every year. So we're going to take a break and get right back at it to try to make it better than ever. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. You know, I get your checks in the mail, and I said, oh, another one for this one, another one. It was like a competition about who was going to have the most. And then we had a meeting last week, and Kevin Walker calls me up. I need 4 more, and up until today even. So the support that you've given the Hall of Fame, and specifically your family members, friends, classmates, has been absolutely unbelievable. You know, 2.5 years ago, or 2 years ago, when we booked the Brownstone, if they ask how many, we said 150 maybe. You know, we're over 310 here tonight, so that's amazing. Just in closing, I want to thank the Brownstone for the great job they did tonight here. Normally this room holds 250, and it was tough for them to get around tonight, but as always, they did a great job. So thank you very much for coming. Have a safe trip home, and go Highlanders.